And we say good morning to you. Welcome aboard. We are live at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City again on this Wednesday, ready to go. And so we got all kinds of things going on. We've got a huge NASCAR story breaking, and Mike Hedrick's going to give us all the details coming up. But we will go ahead and tell you as we get this thing rolling. Show number 565. They said it wouldn't last. And so we're loaded for bear. We got coming up in just a few minutes. The Queen is in the house, the Executive Director of the Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association, better known as NETA. Dear friend, sweet lady, works tirelessly to promote tourism in East Tennessee, and with good reason. It's a beautiful place, obviously. Alicia Phelps will join us coming up here in just a few minutes. Yeah, it's tourism. Well, it's not sports, but it's tourism, and tourism is very important, and we'll talk to her about that coming up in a few minutes. Alice Corker joins us at the bottom of the hour. Lisa Harper's coming to town. She is a Christian comedian, right in with the local radio station WCQR, so she's going to be here by phone talking to us about that. Mike Hedrick, as we told you, giving us a preview for Pocono, where Chris Buescher won the Cup race, and then, of course, in Iowa, Eric Jones won the Xfinity race, and the trucks run in Pocono this week as well. William Byron, the Phenom, won the truck race in Pocono a year ago, so we'll talk to Mike Hedrick about the preview about Pocono, Pennsylvania, and the big NASCAR news. Again, the big news is Team Penske announcing today. Michael have all the details about this, but here's the headline tease. Team Penske is plucking Ryan Blaney from the Wood Brothers family to drive a third team in 2018, along with Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, now Ryan Blaney. Paul Menard leaves RCR Racing after 7 seasons, and he goes to the Wood Brothers to drive, as he calls it, the iconic number 21 for the Wood Brothers, and bring a lot of money with him, of course. So Paul Menard leaving Richard Childress Racing. The silly season continues, going to the Wood Brothers, and Ryan Blaney leaving the Wood Brothers, going for that third team with Team Penske. Mike Hedrick will have all that information coming up here in a little while. Greg Sawyer talking Major League Baseball. Triple play last night. Very rare, a triple play. And on top of that, a run scored on a triple play. Greg will have that for us coming up. And then Dave Angie joins us at the bottom of the hour. So all that coming up here again on show number 565. Tomorrow will be a Champion Chevrolet. On Friday, a brand new stop will be at the Sprint Store in North Johnson City on North Roan, hanging out with Ronnie and the gang. And so we'll be there broadcasting live. Yes. How's Amy doing today? Good. Do we have any of that world famous sweet tea? Would you like some sweet tea? I would love to have some world famous sweet tea. Miss Amy, please, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Here's the verse of the day to get us started. We always dedicate this show to the man who hung on the cross. We unashamedly do that. Here's the verse out of the book of Zephaniah. Says, I am with you. I am mighty to save. I will take great delight in you. I will quiet you with my love, and I will rejoice over you with singing. That is the verse of the day. Thank you, Miss Amy. Amy, you're nice. You're nice, and thank you. She's a sweetie. Brought me a tea. Love the tea here at Chick-Fil-A. Anyway, Zephaniah, I am with you. I am mighty to save. I will take great delight in you. I will quiet you with my love, and I will rejoice over you with singing. So that's the verse of the day to get us started here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Show number 565. Countdown is on. This lady's a big NASCAR fan. We're going to talk about our man coming up here in just a minute. We are 21 days out. 3 weeks from tonight will be the UNOH 200, again, of the Camping World Truck Series, as well as the Bush's Beans 150. And that tells me right here, click that, and there you are. You can win tickets to those 2 events 3 weeks from tonight. And then coming up in 23 days is the Food City 300, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s final Xfinity Series race appearance at Bristol Motor Speedway. So how do you get qualified to win the tickets when we give it away August the 11th? Very simple. Go to TomTaylorSports.com/contest. And again, we'll make the announcement coming up, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks from Friday. Can't keep up my dates. 2 weeks from Friday, we'll make the announcement who wins. We got multiple winners. We're sending folks to that Wednesday night doubleheader. We're sending folks, bless you, we're sending folks to the Food City 300 on Friday, August the 18th. So we'll take a quick break. We'll come right back, and we'll come in, and she will come in and join us. Alicia Phelps, the Executive Director of the Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association, better known as NETA, and a big event coming to town in September. Is that right? Coming? We're going to talk about that next here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
This is the place where you can forget all about work for a while and celebrate the good old U.S. of A. And take in the best bumper-banging, fist-waving, hero-making short track race of the year. the Bass Pro Shops NRA Night Race. And kids' tickets are just $10. Be there August 19th because it ain't just another race. It's Bristol, baby.
Trucks, and more trucks at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. We have a huge selection of over 400 new Silverados to choose from, with over 700 total Chevrolets in stock, with savings that are bigger than our massive selection. Silverado Double and Crew Cab All-Stars, $11,000 off MSRP. Malibu LT, 20% off. 17 Colorado, $19,995. 17 Equinox, $21,445. Don't miss out on one of the best times to buy a new Chevrolet with savings that will leave you asking. How do they do that? At Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City.
At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-Fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game. Birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-Fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the crossings in North Johnson City.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
Really? We're back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Huh?
I'm an artist and I do all the Richard Famous, not all, but
Really? Cool stuff. We are talking to William Bell, who stopped by here. We're back live on the show after the break, and he is an artiste, if you will. So, and you just came back from where?
just got back from Brazil.
From Brazil with Madonna?
For Madonna.
Or for Madonna? Like the Madonna? Like,
Tell us
really?
come online.
So now you paint? You're a photographer? Yeah. That's, oh, you paint? Cool.
I'll show you something.
So go to that William Bell faux artist. Google it, and there you are. And you're in Chick-Fil-A. I've met somebody famous. This is cool. Give me some taters. I like it. There you are. There you are.
I would move out in a second.
Would you?
My wife has kids here.
Yeah.
Blended family. That's pretty nice.
It's cool. Well, we're glad you're here.
So my wife, tell Sarah.
Tell Sarah. I'm going to check you out when I get home today.
I'm Alicia. I'm with Northeast Tennessee Tourism, so we encourage people to live here and to move here. So,
That was a smooth segue.
yep.
Yeah? That is cool. You can't do that in the city, can you? You can't do that in the city very well, can you? Well, that's true, too. It's like anywhere. Depends where you live around here, too. So, well, I'm going to check you out, man. Thank you. Yeah. Nice to meet you. See, you just never know.
Interesting.
Yeah, you just never know. We are live here. Oh, tipped us up just a smidgen. There we go. We're live again at Chick-Fil-A The Crossings in North Johnson City. I am me, and she is the executive director of NETA,
She's
Alicia
her.
Phelps, and she is her. Yes. Now, before we get into tourism, we're big NASCAR fans, obviously, and she's going to be up there coming up in 21 days for the trucks, 23 for the Food City 300, and 24 days for America's Night Race. The big breaking news, Ryan Blaney leaving Wood Brothers. This just broke this morning. Silly season is upon us, obviously. That's silly season with kind of a goofy definition. That's all these drivers make moves during NASCAR. So, again, Ryan Blaney leaving, going to Team Penske for the third team. Paul Menard leaves Richard Childress Racing and goes to the Wood Brothers, take his seat. So, what's your take on all that?
Well, there's a lot of seat changing around, and it's sometimes hard to keep up. But I really follow Joe Gibbs Racing, as you know. That's what we like to talk about. But it's they keep it interesting. They keep it lively, so it's always fun and fresh.
All right. Speaking of Joe Gibbs, the announcement broke. Eric Jones going to be there in 2018. Where does, in your humble opinion, where does Matt Kenseth go? Where does he
gosh, you know, I will have to say I was talking to my fiance Kevin a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I'm not feeling Matt Kenseth right now. he's a good finisher, but our friend is back. Look. Oh.
That's for Spielberg. Do you know who would know the lady husband who used to own the racetrack? What's her name?
Shirley.
Yeah, Shirley Jackson. Jackson with the yellow Volkswagen.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah. So you painted that?
Yes.
All right, put that up on the screen so people can see that. Put that up on the camera. That way they can.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get it up like this. And I would be a terrible weatherman. You painted that? And get that up there as close as I can get it to the screen. How am I doing, Alicia? Good or not good?
That's good.
Go left, go
Yeah,
right?
no, it's good.
Okay. You painted this on the ceiling of whose home?
Ceiling. That's Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg's house?
I know you think of BS. Right?
No, I don't. No, I take a man at his word. If you lied to me, I'll never talk to you again. But I take a man at his word to begin with.
Too many people in town.
Yeah, that is really cool. Is that oil?
Yes. Yeah, I like oil. I prefer oil.
So you're like Michelangelo up in the Sistine Chapel. How long did it take you to do that?
That was pretty quick. That was about a month.
Yeah,
That was about a month. That wasn't too bad.
interesting.
You may know the wife. I was trying to.
Amy Irving?
No, Shonda.
Oh, your wife.
Yeah. She does hair for Dance with the Stars.
Oh, yeah.
I think you. I've seen you once before. Trying to figure out were you in the same cell as me?
Yeah, you go. You saw him in the post office on the wall. Wanted. William Bell and Tom Taylor wanted. There you go.
That's it, baby.
Well, we have to get you come. Give me your card. I have to get you come be on the show sometime.
Are you gonna hate me? I don't have a card.
Well,
I
tell me how to get hold. I get good.
certainly YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go.
I can give you. Can you write?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you can write.
I'll let you write it because my handwriting.
Okay. Alicia, you write it, and I'll do this because we're on the air. We're doing a show.
Live on Mars.
William's with us here. William Bell. So you came in. You're in here. What? Watching grandkids? Kids?
Daughter.
Oh, your daughter. Cool. So have you?
William on Mars at mac.com.
There you go. So this guy, we've met somebody. See, you just never know. In Chick-fil-A, you will meet famous, and so we met William Bell. Yeah, there you are. You are in my book. So anyway, here's the big news again. NASCAR. We have Ryan Blaney going over to Team Penske, and the Wood Brothers picking up Paul Menard driving the iconic 21. We're going to check in with Mike Edry coming up next half hour about that. You want to talk tourism? What's going on in tourism right now?
Yeah. So,
Hang on just a
thank
second.
you.
Just there you go. Go
Thanks. So there are two big things coming up. One, of course, is the race. However, we mustn't forget that also Bristol is the birthplace of country music.
It is.
They are celebrating the 90th anniversary of the Bristol Sessions, which, you know, we all know the history of that. It was very instrumental, no pun intended, in getting country music going and started that. We know it today, and Americana and folk. So as part of that, right now through July the 30th, you can get into the Birthplace of Country Music Museum for 90 cents. 90 cents. So
That's cool.
if you haven't been, if you want to go back, because they do have rotating exhibits that rotate every couple of months, and they just put a new one in last week, I think. So you can get in there for 90 cents through July the 30th. That is Sunday. I encourage you, take your children, take family that you have coming in. If you haven't been in a while, or if you've never been, it's worth the trip to go to downtown Bristol and check that out and make a day out of it. Go shopping, step into a couple of the restaurants, and check it out. So it's fun.
Lots of neat little shops too in downtown Bristol. In
Absolutely.
And around the Birthplace of Country Music.
Yeah, and next week they'll be debuting the Born in Bristol film, which I don't know if do you remember last year they were doing a lot of filming throughout the area. So Born in Bristol will be debuting next week, and you can check that out at the birthplaceofcountrymusic.org, as well as our website, northeasttennessee.org.
You see on the screen is Alicia Phelps, the Executive Director of the Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association. And so your job is to obviously promote tourism. How many counties do you represent?
8.
8 counties across Northeast Tennessee. When you go to the website, there is something virtually, not just every week, virtually every day going on as far as tourism here in our region. There's always something going on. In fact, driving over this morning to the show, passed a guy with a bunch of kayaks up on top of his cars. It looked like they were going kayaking, and fly fishing's.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably next week we'll be debuting a new outdoor video that has been super fun filming this summer, and it's been great. But we're going to kind of showcase the whole region, all the way up to the Doe Mountain Recreation Area in Mountain City, Johnson County, over to Bays Mountain, the Tweetsy Trail, and everything in between. One of the things that you just mentioned, we went rafting. So we have a blog up that is super fun about that. We learned how to rapid surf on a whitewater rapid in a raft with USA Raft, Mountain River Guides out of Irwin, and they do trips all over Northeast Tennessee, anywhere from rafting to stand-up paddleboarding, which I absolutely love. It's more of a relaxed lake. But you can also do it I haven't done it on whitewater, but to cave exploration, to fishing trips. So all of that will be included in our video, as well as some other fun things. A lot of wildlife too.
A lot of wildlife here in Northeast Tennessee. What's the website?
northeasttennessee.org.
Yeah, northeasttennessee.org. Again, we're talking to Alicia, who is the Executive Director. So we're kind of, not really fall yet, but we're starting to kind of begin a transition going into the fall festivals. We still have, of course, the Appalachian Fair is coming up in August. The race in Bristol is the biggie, of course. And then you have, when you morph into the late summer, early fall, you got Heritage Days down in Rogersville. I'm going to leave some of them out, but you have all kinds of different festivals.
We can't name them all. A lot of them are on our website, though. I mean, there are some weekends where there are 25 events listed on our events calendar, and that's just the tip. But we also just visited Rogersville with one of our blogs. It's titled Hot Sauce History and Hot Rods. Speaking of cars, so the second Friday of every month through October, head to downtown Rogersville from 6 to 9. The cars line. I mean, it's just cool to see all these old cars lining the streets. They do awards. There's music, and the hot sauce part of it. We took a trip to Amy Mill Eatery, barbecue and Cajun food. There's a dam. There's a visitor center, picnic area. That's a dining destination in its own in Rogersville.
All this going on again, and with the website again, northeasttennessee.org. All kinds of things to take a look at. Folks come in here to go fly fishing, kayaking, hiking, of course, bicycling, mountain biking. I mean, it goes on and on. Got a big event coming up in September. Tease us about that.
Speaking of biking and back roads and hot rods, Geico Motorcycle Hot Bike Tour, which is going to be thousands of bikes from all over the country, will be coming to downtown Johnson City and throughout Northeast Tennessee. And that will be September 8th, 9th, and 10th. That's a weekend. And there's going to be stunts, swap shops. I think there's going to be a tattoo and beard contest, so you probably need to start working on that.
Why is she pointing my beard? Okay. Tattoo and beard contest?
Yeah. Stunt show, cruising, just all kinds of things. There'll be some crazy bikes down there, some world-renowned pinstripers. So if you're into motorcycles, if you have a motorcycle, if you're into riding those country back roads, because they'll be taking the trip on the award-winning Southern Dozen trips, which are different motorcycle rides throughout Northeast Tennessee. That's going to be going on, and it's going to hit us well, and we're super excited.
It's going to be a busy time here in the fall in Northeast Tennessee with all kinds of tourism. NortheastTennessee.org is the website. And so each city has their own CVB person that you work with very closely, and the whole point is to put those heads in beds. Throw out some numbers in closing. What kind of monies does tourism generate in Tennessee?
Yeah, so we're talking about billions, and even our smaller areas, we're really excited because Northeast Tennessee as a region is very sound when it comes to tourism. The numbers from last year, including Battle at Bristol, will be released in a couple months. Can't wait to see those. But we do have 2 of our counties in the top 10 tourist destinations and performers in the state of Tennessee, and so I have to mention our new traditional visitors guide is out. Our magazine will be out next month with lots of questions and answers and fun things in depth, but that has city picks. So if you're just here for a few minutes, for a day or two, and you want to check out what there is to do in each of the different cities, we've got our top 3 and 4 picks in there of what they recommend you should do. So check that out, and that's actually the birthplace of country music. You're showing the back cover there. That is definitely a place to check out through Sunday for 90 cents. But again, in that, you can pick that up in stands throughout the region. You can get it at northeasttennessee.org, our website for download, as well as all of our state welcome centers.
Well done, too. It's a neat little. Can I keep this?
Absolutely.
It's a neat little reference point. So
yep.
It's all good.
And it's got a map of the region, too, including Southwest Virginia. So if you need to see how far you are from, some of the larger cities to make a day trip, we've got you covered in that, too.
For example, from Columbus, Ohio, you're about 8 hours away. You go to Lexington, Kentucky, you're 4.5 hours out. If you want to go to Nashville, you're about 5 hours. You want to go to the nation's capital, about 7 hours away. If you want to go to Asheville, North Carolina, you're about an hour out. So it's about 65 miles from here. So this is neat.
Yeah.
Again,
and a lot of those cities, that's interesting, a lot of those cities, those are the people that we see coming here. So it's fun to see, the big city. They want to come here to experience a lot of the outdoors and the mom and pops and the natural beauty and the history and culture that we have here.
There you go. Last question, switching back to NASCAR.
Yeah.
Our man keeps leading races, but doesn't win races. We're talking about it. She and I are big Kyle Busch fans. Make no apologies for that. The guy can drive a race car. Be like, you like Kyle Busch? He's a jerk. Maybe a jerk. He can drive a car. I don't necessarily think he's a jerk. He's a competitor. He doesn't like to lose, and he's paid to win. That's what he says. That Joe Gibbs pays me big checks to win races. That's what I'm supposed to do. When I don't, I'm not happy. Now, I don't think he always uses the best bedside manner way he handles things when he loses, but he is a competitor, and he's close, but no cigars so far. What we're going to do to get him over the hump?
I think he just needs a one solid win to get him over that hump and to push him forward. But he just keeps going to the school of hard knocks, doesn't he?
Yes.
So, wow, I thought he had last week, but at the Brickyard. But just it takes a lot to keep on trucking, I'm telling you. But we'll watch him.
Yep.
We'll
Keep
watch
on
him.
following. Of course, I remember when his brother won, he said, when I dominated back earlier in my career, I kind of took it for granted. Now I realize how tough it is to win one race. Ask Casey Kane. He's 102 races since he'd won, and so he finally gets the checkers last weekend, so he's in the chase. But you're talking about a humble guy. He said, man, I didn't realize how much I appreciated wins because he'd won pretty regular, and he's been in a drought. So, yeah, it's not easy. And so Busch has been there, but no cigar, and so they'll crank it back up this weekend. At Pocono, Chris Buescher won the event a year ago, and so he'll be back to defend his crown at Pocono in the Pennsylvania 400. We'll come back real soon, talk again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us and all you do. Sports is part of tourism, too.
You got that right. It kind of goes intertwined because a lot of sports here in Northeast Tennessee, a lot of tournaments. We just had a big tournament come in. We had Ron Ray on last week. Had 150 teams in here in a girls softball tournament. There's USSSA baseball has been entered during the summer. We had the state Little League tournament here in Johnson City last weekend. think it was 13 and under state Little League tournament. So there's something always going on in Northeast Tennessee. It's exciting. I love living here. You?
Yeah, I do too. Absolutely.
Yeah, always something going on here in Northeast Tennessee. Quick break. We'll be right back. Speaking of, we got a big concert coming to town. A Christian comedian, Lisa Harper, will be coming to town, and Alice Corker is going to tell us all about that coming up by phone. There again is the way to win tickets. You won tickets to the Spring Nationals.
I did.
She
yes.
won tickets on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, and she was all excited and sent me a text, and I forgot to text her back, and I got chewed on about that, and I should have. So, but that's okay. You going to register for tickets? You've got season tickets for the track.
I've been a long-time season pass holder with the track. I love to support them in that way. So I'm going to let somebody who hasn't been. I'm going to let this
Somebody
slide.
else win. Got you. Very good. Well, thank you for coming by, dude.
Absolutely.
You're awesome. She's a neat lady. Quick break. We'll be right back. We'll move on to talk to Alice Corker coming up next. Thanks for Alicia to stop by. She's a busy lady promoting tourism in 8 counties. Hard to catch her because she is on the move. I appreciate her taking time to stop by here to be on the show. Quick break. We'll be right back. We're live at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. Tomorrow, Champion Chevrolet. Friday, a brand new stop. We're going to be at the Sprint store in North Johnson City on North Roan Street. Brand new sponsor, brand new stop. So we'll take a break. We'll be right back on show number 565, brought to you by Grip Energy Drink. You're watching and listening to the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. Blue Lizard Australian sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here at the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400, your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitats, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
We're back live with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. We're live again at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City, show number 565, and they said it wouldn't work. Going strong. Tomorrow will be at Champion Chevrolet, and then Friday a brand new sponsor will be at the Sprint store in North Johnson City, and next week we're going to be, next Friday we're going to be at Food City on Eastman Road, so we can get back on the Food City Fridays next week. So busy, busy, busy. Let's go to the phone. She's busy promoting Lisa Harper coming to town. She's the chairperson the women's ministry at First Baptist Church in Kingsport. Alice Corker, good morning, young lady. How are you?
Good morning. Fine, thank you.
Yep, and so she's coming to town a week from Saturday, Lisa Harper, and again, it's an exciting concert. This lady's dynamite, and so kind of give us an overview of Lisa Harper and everything going on with this concert.
Absolutely. This is the centennial year for Kingsport and also for our church, First Baptist. So we wanted to bring in a speaker who was very well known, and we wanted to do a very fun and inspirational outreach to women in our area. And so Lisa Harper was the perfect choice. If you've ever heard her, she's incredibly intelligent. She has a Master of Theology, and I find you can always trust what she has to say as she's teaching. But more than that, she's just so funny that she's very easy to listen to. She tends to find herself in all kinds of crazy situations, and she openly relates those and shares those along with her message. And it's just always a fun time to have a chance to hear from her and her life. More than that, she's a single mom to an adopted daughter from Haiti. Her name's Missy, and I think she's 9 years old now. And so she's also in the phase of life where she is managing a child through school. It's a child with special needs. She's a biracial family now. And so she just has a lot in her life that I think everybody can relate to on some level. She also is a survivor of molestation in her past. So when she talks about walking through things with God, she's really speaking from a place of authenticity, and she's just very relatable. And we think everyone who comes will have a really not just fun time, but find that they are able to take away some profound truths that I think will bless them.
Well, yes, she's going to be funny, but she's also going to leave you the message, and she's going to minister to you. And there's ladies out there, obviously, that need to hear this message, and there's ladies that, unfortunately, probably going through some of the things she's going through or have gone through. So she can help with the healing process in a certain way, too, can't she?
Absolutely. That is her heart more than anything else. She loves people, and she desperately wants to impart the love of Jesus into people's lives. And the theme of our event this August is called Something New. And that's our theme. Well, as we've looked back over the last century, we're now looking forward to a new century for our church and our church's mission. But we believe that every single person has new challenges that you face every season of life. And we're starting a new school year as well, and sometimes that can bring its own challenges. But we hope that through this event, everyone who comes will receive a new hope and a new direction for those challenges that they're facing.
We're talking to Alice Corker again. She's on the phone with us live. We're talking about the Lisa Harper concert coming to town next Saturday. Where are the tickets available at? There is a website. You can go and find out more about Lisa. Tell me where we get our tickets. Where's the event going to be? And kind of give us an overview of the event next Saturday in Kingsport.
I will. And we are partnering with WCQR on this event. So you can go to either the WCQR website, which is wcqr.org, or the First Baptist Church website, fbckpt.org, to get more information. If you want to learn more about Lisa, she has her own website at lisaharper.net, and tickets are available on itickets.com under Lisa Harper. The tickets for this event are $20. The event itself is from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m., and we include a light lunch, and there's a gluten-free option if you need that. We can only guarantee lunch if you purchase your ticket by August the 1st.
Sure.
After that, tickets are available, but we can't guarantee lunch. And tickets at the door, if we have some, if we haven't sold out, if we have some available, tickets at the door on August 5th will be $30. But tickets are also available at the First Baptist Church office. So if you're in town and that's easier and you're not as versed with the computer, you can just run by. The office is right off of Holston Street, and they'll be happy to sell you some tickets.
Ticket sales are brisk, and so we're hoping for a sellout. So it's next Saturday. Again, you can find out more about Lisa Harper by going to lisaharper.net. As Alice said, it's from 10 to 3 next Saturday. $20 ticket now, and when you wait, obviously you wait the day of, then you're going to. Ticket price will go up, which is totally understandable. Plus, if you want the lunch, they need to know now so they can get a head count. That's kind of obvious. So all this is available.
That's right.
One more time, where do we get our tickets at again?
iTickets.com, and that's just ITICKETS.com, or at the First Baptist Church office in Kingsport.
In downtown Kingsport, yep, the home of, I simply call him Marvelous Marvin Cameron. He's a great guy. I love Marvin Cameron.
He is.
He's a class act, absolutely. Lisa, thank you. Again, appreciate you checking in with us. Good luck. We may get you back on again next week, give another push. But let's get this place filled up for this young lady coming to town. She's phenomenal. We appreciate you taking the time to tell us about it, all right?
Thank you for letting us come on. Appreciate it so much. Bye-bye.
Yep, great job. Again, Alice Corker with us again. The Lisa Harper concert coming up again next Saturday. A week from this Saturday, obviously. First Baptist in downtown Kingsport. Go to lisaharper.net. You can call the church office to get those tickets for Lisa Harper. Again, a Christian comedian. 10 to 3, $20 ticket now, and you get a free light lunch. But you got to let them know now because they need a head count. We'll take a quick break. We'll go from there. We're fixing to go to Northern Virginia to talk NASCAR with Mike Hedrick and all this craziness going on this morning with Ryan Blaney and Paul Menard, everything going on in NASCAR. The silly season is very much upon us. Quick break. We'll be right back. We'll go to Northern Virginia, talk to Mike Hedrick on the phone here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, live at Chick-Fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
This is the place where you can forget all about work for a while and celebrate the good old U.S. of A. And take in the best bumper-banging, fist-waving, hero-making short track race of the year. The Bass Pro Shops NRA Night Race. And kids' tickets are just $10. Be there August 19th because it ain't just another race. It's Bristol, baby.
Trucks, and more trucks at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. We have a huge selection of over 400 new Silverados to choose from, with over 700 total Chevrolets in stock, with savings that are bigger than our massive selection. Silverado Double and Crew Cab All-Stars, $11,000 off MSRP. Malibu LT, 20% off. 17 Colorado, $19,995. 17 Equinox, $21,445. Don't miss out on one of the best times to buy a new Chevrolet with savings that will leave you asking, how do they do that? At Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City.
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back on the Tom Douglas Sports Show, we're live here again at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. It is hot out there again today. Frosted lemonade will go down real easy. Also the hand-spun milkshakes, the chocolate, cookies and cream, strawberry, vanilla. You can't go wrong. I'm looking up at the menu board, making me hungry looking at it. And, of course, how could you go wrong with the peach milkshake? You can't. Peach milkshake, what I like, they got the peaches, the chunks of peaches so big they stop your straw up. You got to take the lid off and just eat it. So, cool stuff. I love the peach milkshakes here at Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City. We go to the phone. He's there. You talking about the silly season. Mike Hedrick's with us, the NASCAR fans reporter. First off, good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, we're doing great. It's a little cooler up here than down there, so I'm making use of it and getting the old farmhouse painted. Got a couple buddies over here this morning and trying to get some chores done before I can play NASCAR with you. You know the rules there, Tom.
I know the rules. Mama's got a chore list. Get it done first. Daddy used to say, work before play, boys, so it's working up there for Mike, too. He's got to get all the work done before he can play. But 2018 is going to be an interesting NASCAR season, the silly season today. The big announcement, tell us about it. Some switching going on, and these are big moves. Tell us about it.
Well, you know, they are big moves, and silly season is always a time where everybody's moving around. And you know what? A lot of it's actually getting done earlier this season than we normally see. The big news really comes from the Penske camp. Yesterday, they locked in Brad Keselowski with a multi-year deal, and today we're learning Ryan Blaney coming on over to Penske. He's going to be in that third Penske team. That team is going to be on fire. We're hearing Paul Menard is going to go over to the Wood Brothers to fill that 21. He's a good, solid driver. He also brings the sponsorship of the family, but that powerhouse move of the Penskes, I think they're looking strong in the Fords.
Oh, absolutely. You've got Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, now Ryan Blaney, the up-and-comer, joining the team for next year. Sponsorship has not been announced yet, but there will be a third team sponsor, obviously, to drive the sponsor boat for Ryan Blaney. Paul Menard takes a lot of money because we know about his father and their company, and it's very strong financially. And so it's a big, big move for him to go to Wood Brothers. It leaves a big vacuum at Richard Childress Racing. So I'm thinking a 27 ride, what's the possibility of Matt Kenseth jumping in that car next year for a couple of years? What do you think?
Well, it's possible, but I think I've already heard that they're actually going to just whittle that whole team down to just a two-car team and try to focus and try to just go what they got. So right now, who would have thought that Matt Kenseth might be the odd man out? But he may be waiting on that 77 at Furniture Road, looking for sponsorship there. There's a couple seats out there, but he's like odd man out. I had him down for either in the 88 car or the 77 or something like that. So I'm not sure where he's going to go right now, but I'll tell you what, they're jumping around. This is as silly as it can get.
You got it. So Richard Childress Racing, as of now, today, will have Ryan Newman and Austin Dillon on the team. And again, I've heard the same thing. Or they may throw more money in behind Ty Dillon in the Xfinity Series. So grandfather's going to take care of them grandchildren. I get that. So right now for this year, for next year at this point, Ryan Newman and Austin Dillon for RCR Racing. Paul Menard, the lone driver of the Wood Brothers, the iconic number 21, as he says. So having said all that, the changes are up and running, obviously, for next year. But this weekend, we've got the trucks and the cups in Pocono and the Xfinity Series in Iowa. So give us a preview, please, of racing this weekend on the NASCAR circuit.
Hey, they're heading to Pocono, the Overton 400 out there in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. It's beautiful. Hey, if we thought the racing was wild last week at Indy, it's about to even get more wild this weekend at the Tricky Triangle there in the Pocono Mountains. I mean, everything about it is different. It's different from its NASCAR track to other different tracks. I mean, we can start with the turns. It has 3 different turns, and none of them are the same. It has 3 long stretches, and none of them are the same. So it's actually a crew chief's nightmare, but it's actually a race fan's dream because it just keeps everything so mixed up. Now, Ryan Blaney won this race in June. Now, Chris Buescher won in August with the rain delay. You might expect Ryan Blaney to be on fire. Now, also we had last year the pole winners were Kaibu. Now, he is desperately looking for a win. Might look for something with him, but of the current drivers that has the most wins, that's going to be your Denny Hamlin. The guy with the most poles that's current is going to be your Denny Hamlin with another 4. And qualifying is going to be very, very, very important. 25% of the winners come from the front row. That's the first 2 positions right there. So Kyle, and a little fact about last week, Kyle tried to do it. Kyle tried to be the first driver at Indy to win 3 in a row. But at Pocono, Bobby Allison did that. He won 3 in a row, and he won both races in 1982, and then got the spring in '83, and they gave him 3 in a row right there. Hey, the current drivers that have actually swept over at Pocono have only been Dale Jr. and Hamlin and Johnson. So are we looking for another sweep this year here? I don't know, but I'm thinking Kyle Busch, he's got to be mad and on fire. I think mad gets you on fire.
Well, he's due, and of course he and Truex had that end of the race skirmish there at the end last weekend, and then saw where Clint Boyer was letting out a cussing tirade, for lack of a better term, against Danica Patrick. He was pretty mad at her late in the race last week. So it is heating up. Tis the season. You know, when you're inside that race car for 3 or 4 hours at a temperature of about 120, 130 degrees, you're going to get heated up pretty quick. So it's hot out there right now. It's going to be hot in Pocono this weekend. Tempers are flaring. Pressure's on. These guys and lady, in the case of Danica, they're trying to get to the chase. Martin Truex with a 48-point lead over Kyle Larson. Kevin Harvick currently 3rd. Then comes Kyle Busch, and Denny Hamlin rounds out the top 5. So pressure's on, heat's on, literally. And so I'll look for some beating and banging again in Pocono this weekend. As you said back earlier in the season, when I first visited Pocono, it is really 3 racetracks in one, the way it's configured. So it's hard on the brakes, hard on the transmission, all the shifting at Pocono. So that typically the attrition rate goes with brakes and transmissions at Pocono. And so, we're going to see some of the regulars have trouble. So it should make for a great weekend of racing in Pocono, Long Pond, Pennsylvania.
And you're exactly right. With those 3 different turns and those long stretches, this is one of the rare tracks, other than road courses, where they actually shift. And again, that's going to put more pressure on, or more, tension on the transmission. Like we said, the tire wear is going to be there. If you set your car up to be good in 1 and 2, you're probably going to have to be terrible in 3. So, it's you fight which ones you can do with and which ones are going to hurt you the less. And then again, it can come down to fuel mileage. It's a great race to go to. I've been out to Long Pond one time, and it's a beautiful track that, it's just fantastic. Great racing. It's going to be great racing this weekend. Again, like we've been talking about, it's any driver at any race can win. These things are just it's so hard to predict who's going to win these weeks.
And does that help the fan base? I think it does. I think it helps NASCAR when Casey Kane comes out of nowhere and breaks a 102 race drought. You have Blaney won this year, Larson's won, of course the regulars have won, with the exception of Kyle Busch. So does that create interest? Is that good for the sport to have a lot of parity and a lot of different winners and the chance for anybody to win a race every week? Is that good for the sport?
I think it's great for the sport. I think it's great for the fans because, unlike most other sporting events, the odds of your team or your driver winning at a NASCAR race are pretty slim, especially when they've had drivers that have had these long bunch of wins. If you go to a football game, 50% odds that your team's going to win. You go to a baseball, 50% odds that your team is going to win. You go to NASCAR, 1 in 40 chance that your guy is going to win, and then you throw in some of the drivers are good, and they're going to eat up some of them wins. So this actually is good because it used to be you would go to a race, and unless your driver was one of those 3 or 4 or 5 that are winning that year, you didn't see your guy win, and your guy didn't have a chance. Well, right now, with the lower downforce package, the newer rules, getting people the stages, getting people to come in or not come in or pit to get the fuel or whatever, there's so many more opportunities for your driver to get there and get him a win. I think it is awesome for the race fans right now.
In the Rick Hendrick camp, you have Chase Elliott, you have obviously the legacy Jimmy Johnson, you have the legacy Dale Jr. stepping away, the most popular driver, 14 years running, voted on by the fans. Then you have Casey Kane, who wins this past weekend. Does that kind of save his bacon in the Rick Hendrick Motorsports camp? Because there's been speculation he was going to be gone, but he is qualified for the chase. So does that help Casey Kane going forward for 2018, in your opinion?
In some ways, I think it has to help. I mean, a win always has to help. There might have been some cards already in the work by this point to put somebody in there to help with the sponsorship. Like we said, he's lost both of his big sponsorship. So, but a win always helps. But, you know, he still could be out, and you could move a Matt Kenseth in there, and he's going to have sponsorship. He's a past champion. He would get you into some races or whatever. So I don't know that Casey is in the clear, but, man, that win has to help out a whole bunch.
You got that right. And, of course, this sets up for you and I when they come to Bristol Motor Speedway next month. It's going to be some beating and banging here on the hat, the Bass Pro Shop NRA night race. I think all this silly season and the pressure and the stress of these drivers, and they're under pressure and they're under stress, all you have to do is go to any of these meetings on Monday morning in the rooms, in the conference rooms of the teams that didn't do well over the weekend, and you can see the pressure and the stress because the owners say, hey, I'm paying big bucks, and the sponsors say, we're paying big bucks. We want that car up front. We want to be talked about. We want to be shown on TV, so we want you guys to win. So you take that. You're coming to Bristol. You're winding down the regular season before the chase. You've got just the fact it's Bristol Motor Speedway. I think it's getting ready to get wild and woolly, I think, at Bristol Motor Speedway. I'm looking for a great weekend of racing, and I think we're going to be treated to some racing like we haven't seen in a long, long time, because these drivers are taking more risks now because the pressure's on. Wouldn't you agree?
I think we are. We're feeling this season just build and build and build, and it's only a couple more weeks where it's going to wind up finally percolating right there in the Coliseum. And you know what? I think it's going to be just a colossus race. I mean, I think it's going to be one of the best races of the season that it always is, but I think it's going to be a game changer. I think we're going to see somebody that just sets himself apart at Bristol that may be the guy that goes on and gets a championship. Winning at Bristol is going to mean more this year here than I think it has ever in the past.
I think you're right. Kevin Harvick will be back to defend his crown. Mike Hedrick, get back out there painting, and I appreciate you so very much. Great, solid report. You have done a yeoman's job since we started doing this, and I look forward to you every week, and you're incredibly pro at what you do. Thank you very much. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you next week, all right?
It's always great talking with you, Tom, and all the race fans that are out there listening. Hey, and God bless everybody real good.
You got it. My man Mike Hedrick from Northern Virginia, appreciate it very much giving us a report. Again, the silly season is upon us, and again, the breaking news this morning, Ryan Blaney leaving the Wood Brothers to drive that third team for Team Penske for 2018, and Paul Menard moving from Richard Childress Racing, leaving that seat open if they will go with a three-driver team. Again, word is they're going to go back and stick with Ryan Newman and Austin Dillon for RCR Racing, but Paul Menard leaving leaving RCR Racing after 7 seasons to go to the Wood Brothers and drive the number 21 ride. So lots of movement, but as we said, Brad Keselowski has sewed up. There's a lot of question marks about that going into this week, and that was finalized with a multi-year extension for Brad Keselowski. Now Ryan Blaney on Team Penske, Paul Menard going to the Wood Brothers, and still the $100,000 question, where will Matt Kenseth be next year? We'll take a break. We got baseball coming up. We got our man Greg Sire going to join us. We had a triple play last night. On top of that, not only was it a triple play, but it was a triple play that produced a run. It was a run-scoring triple play, which is extremely rare. We'll go back and pull out the numbers and show you how rare it is. Also, the very latest on the Pirates and the Cubs and the NL Central, and things are heating up there. Things are heating up in the American League East. So it's baseball's again coming down to the trading deadline on Monday, and so more movement as far as trades and more speculation. Greg will have all that for you coming up. Also got some NFL news. Got a couple of the guys that one guy blew out a knee. He's done for the season before the season even starts. Also a lot of training camps start today. We'll run those down for you. Did you enjoy your lunch, dear? Yes. What did you have?
I tried something new. I had the chicken sandwich, and I always do the chicken nuggets.
You had a chicken sandwich? And it was a winter chicken dinner. It was all right, dear. Take care. Get that leg better. Bless her heart. Alicia Phelps, she's wearing a boot. She rolled her ankle at a ball game, and she's been kind of on the injured reserve list. Anyway, got all this coming up with the baseball. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. We're live at Chick-Fil-A The Crossings in North Johnson City here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Again, brought to you by the great folks from Grip Energy Drink.
American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447. If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Back at the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Don't forget, right there is where you enter to win tickets to Bristol Motor Speedway. Again, the doubleheader, 3 weeks from tonight? The UNOH 200, the Camping World Truck Series, and the Bush's Beans 150. Eric Goodell won that race a year ago. And the defending champ of this race is Ben Kennedy. And then, of course, on Friday night, the Food City 300, Austin Dillon back into claim that particular crown, defend his crown anyway. And so tickets, TomTaylorSports.com/contest. And again, we'll announce the winners coming up on Friday, August the 11th, and looking forward to that. Again, we are live, as we said, here at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. Got some NFL news. Greg Salyer joins us coming up here in just a few minutes, and let's run down some NFL news for you while we've got a chance. And, well, the news keeps getting worse for Ravens running back Kenneth Dixon. Ravens, he's going to miss the entire season after undergoing surgery for a torn meniscus. It's got to be tough after this guy's ready to go. He has suffered, this is the third time in 12 months he suffered some kind of a knee injury. He's out again for 2017. The Ravens look like they're going to go after Bobby Rainey as a possible replacement for, again, Dixon. Dixon's out for the 2017 season. Also, the Jaguars, Jacksonville, with 1 day to go before training camp starts, they decided to squeeze one last contract extension, and boy, it was a big one. The center on the football team, guy snaps the ball, of course, Brandon Linder, 5-year extension, making him the highest paid center in NFL history. How about that? This guy, a 5-year extension, $51 million to snap the football, $24 million in guaranteed money, which means no matter what happens, and obviously on the line's injury prone, this guy's going to make $24 million regardless. God, it's unbelievable. His contract of $24 million guarantee supersedes the $20 million guarantee that Alex Mack received when he signed with the Falcons in March of last year. So I don't know where this is going to stop. It just continues to spiral, in my humble opinion, out of control. Also, another one of the big hogs of the Cowboys, Lael Collins, agreed to terms on a 2-year contract extension, paying him a total of $15 million, including a $4 million signing bonus. So $16 million over the next 3 seasons. We're talking 16 Saturdays or Sundays times 3. What is that? 48 days at work for $15 million. I'd take it all day long. Somebody said, you work 48 days out of the year, I'm going to pay you $15 million. I'm there. Show me the money. Hall of Fame game coming up next Thursday. Kick off the NFL preseason and NFL season period. It'll be the Hall of Fame game next Thursday night, a week from tomorrow. The Cowboys in Arizona in the Hall of Fame game. And then also, let's run down training camps. A lot of them start today. First off in the AFC, the Ravens, Buffalo, Cleveland, Denver, Jacksonville, the Dolphins, the world champion, Super Bowl champion New England Patriots start today in Foxborough. In the NFC, starting today, the Falcons, the Bears, the Packers, the Vikings, the Saints, Philadelphia, and the Redskins all get cranked up today. By the way, close to us, the Greenbrier in White Sulphur Springs used to be the training camp for the Saints. They're no longer there. They've changed. The Saints are going to be working out. Saints are going to be in Louisiana, closer to home. But the Houston Texans, go figure, the Houston Texans are going to be using the Greenbrier in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, as their training camp for this season. And really, the only team really matters, the Raiders. My boys, they will go into camp on Friday, getting ready for the Super Bowl run. The Raiders. Can't wait. So, anyway, some of the teams are in. Some of the teams will come back, or I should say go in, between now and Friday. Most everybody will be in by Friday, including the Raiders. My boys, the Silver and Black, is back, and they go into camp, as we said, in Napa, California on Friday. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. He's here. We're going to talk baseball. A triple play with a run scored. Number one, triple plays are a rarity, and of course, you score a run off, it's even more rare. Also, got some trade news. We got standings. We got scores. We got Edwin Encarnacion putting on a show last night. We got lots to talk about with baseball with our buddy Greg Salyer. He joins us next year. So we're live at Chick-Fil-A on show number 565 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447. you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad-spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. No, I'm not Greg Salyer. We're fixing to get him right now as we're here live again at Chick-Fil-A. Again, on a hot day like today. Any day is a good day to be at Chick-Fil-A. But again, one of our great sponsors. Getting ready to go swimming this afternoon at the old church picnic. Getting ready to hit the pool at Fishery Park. And I promise you, I'm going to have this on. I'll be slathered up. Blue Lizard Australian sunscreen. Again, made right here in Johnson City. It goes all over the world. Again, it is, well, you can see it water resistant for 80 minutes. I'll be going off the high dive today, making some splashes, which will be fun. Zinc oxide formula. The bottle changes color, turns blue in harmful UV sunlight. It's out there today for sure. SPF 30 plus, broad spectrum UVA, UVB rather. Again, water resistance. We told you can leave it on extremely water resistant for 80 minutes based on the US FDA test methods. And so it's right here, and it's Blue Lizard. We got the sport. If you're going to be around the pool, which we are today. Also, if you have a little person, you want to use the baby formula for them. And then here's the one the ladies love because it is a gel. It is a gel formula, I guess for lack of a better term. But ladies put this on when they're getting ready to go out in the sun and put the makeup on top of that. And guys and ladies that fish use this because when they put on their face and their arms to keep getting burnt and their face, they tell me, the fishermen tell me that it is scentless, no fragrance, and so the fish pick up on the competition's sunscreens, and they don't on this one. And a lot of the fisher persons use this because it is fragrance free, and the fish, they don't pick up on it. What they tell me. I don't fish, but if they say that, does it make sense to you?
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Oh yeah.
Abigail likes to take the bottle over just to the window so it'll turn blue.
Gene Poole, I'm going to say. That would be his daughter. She's the coolest kid in the world. But she just goes and goes, look, Daddy, it's turning blue. So.
She does. She goes over and holds it up to the window.
I don't doubt that a bit.
Yeah.
So the question is, the Gene Poole, did it go to Mrs. Sawyer's side or Dad's side? But she's a sweetie. She's a great kid. And it is pretty cool. I got to tell you, I've done the same thing. I put it up on the dashboard, and within minutes with the sunlight, the cap turns blue. It tells you we got to have, again, sunscreen. Blue Lizard. Again, they're starting next year. We're going to be there Monday broadcasting at the plant. Starting next year, they signed a contract. They're the official sunscreen to the Boston Red Sox. They're going to have the little giveaway packets. I think I've got one right here. They're going to have the giveaway packets. Did it fall out? Let's see if I still got it. Nope, can't find it. They have the little, looks like a little ketchup packet. Blue Lizard, they're going to have those in the bathrooms at Fenway Park for the fans to apply at the ballpark. They're also already the official sunscreen to the Chicago Cubs and the New York Yankees. And also PGA golfer Sergio Garcia is sponsored by Blue Lizard. You see him on TV with the Blue Lizard. He'll have this. See the lizard? He'll have this on his ball cap. So they're everywhere. And of course, they're made right here in the Tri-Cities and Crown Laboratories. Goes all over the world. So big push and a big testimonial for Blue Lizard Australian sunscreen. We're joined obviously on the screen by our buddy Greg Salyer, Major League Baseball update. It was a rarity last night. Doesn't happen often, but it happened. We're talking about a triple play, and on top of that was a run scored. So kind of explain, in the books it was 6-3-5-4.
Yeah.
Ground ball, shortstop, steps on the bag on a sweep play, steps on the bag himself, throws to first. Votto throws across the diamond to the third baseman. He throws back to the second baseman, catches the guy on a rundown and gets him. But as that's happened, a run scored. So this is very, very rare, isn't it?
Oh, extremely rare. Yeah, bases loaded, nobody out. Todd Frazier, in his first at-bat as a Yankee in Yankee Stadium, hits into a triple play. No RBI, by the way, because it was a triple play. But that's that. Yeah, we were out last night. I wasn't watching the game, and my daughter Hannah got this notification, and the first notification said it was a 6-6-3-4-5 triple play, and I said, how did they have two sixes together? I mean, did he throw the ball to himself? You know, it was the first thing I asked. Yeah, it ended up being a typo. Very rare triple play. I don't know that I've ever seen one quite like that before, but it worked. You know, the Yankees scored a run. The Reds got 3 outs. Most times you would trade that any day, but the Reds end up losing by 2. So
just another day at the ballpark for the Reds.
Yeah.
Again, they're now, losing. They got doubled up with the Yankees 4-2. Now, to educate folks out there who may not know what we're talking about when we're talking about numbers, each position on the field has a number. Pitcher's at number 1, catcher is number 2, first baseman is 3, second baseman is 4, shortstop is 6, and third baseman is 5. So when we say 6-3-5-4, Todd Frazier hit a ground ball to number 6, the shortstop, who fielded the ball, stepped on second base by himself to get the runner. There was a runner on first base coming down to second. Shortstop steps on the bag, gets that out number 1, throws to number 3. In this case, it's Joey Votto, the first baseman, who gets the batter coming down the line for that's out number 2. So it's 6-3, shortstop to first base. Votto, there's a runner on second. All this is going on. He breaks to third. Votto throws across the diamond to number 5. Third baseman catches it. Runner stops to catch him in a rundown. So he throws it back to the guy behind him, in behind the runner, which is the second baseman, who was going to tag him, but he ran out of the baseline. They called him out. So that's how you get a 6-3-5-4. Shortstop, first base, third base, second base. And the last time it happened, a triple play with a run scored, was 2006. In fact, it's only happened 7 times since 1930. Very, very rare to get a triple play to begin with, but then get a run scored. So I guess in the book, Frazier gets fielder's choice, right?
Yeah, that's how it went down, I think.
Fielder's choice with no RBI because he hits into a triple play. So, and a run scores, but he doesn't get credit for the run batted in. So, Reds get beat. No surprise there. I shouldn't say that. One of these days he's going to go, bam! I've heard all of them here. So, but anyway.
At this point, I'm just like, I just want to see how many losses it takes for them to
fire Brian Price.
Fire Brian Price. That's it. So I'm okay with it at this point.
We're at 59 right now. So what did they have last year? They had
they didn't reach 100, but it was close. It was in. I want to say it was 97, something like that.
Oh, I love this guy. It's like, it wasn't 100, but it was bad.
Yeah.
Let me run down the scoreboard from last night. Cubs beat the White Sox 7-2. Got a story here. Got some hurt feelings between the two teams in Chicago. We'll talk about that. Houston shuts out Philadelphia 5-0. Milwaukee blanks Washington 8-0. You had Texas all over Miami 10-4. As we said, the Yankees double up Cincinnati 4-2. Cardinals win. They beat Colorado 3-2. Atlanta, Arizona. Braves got beat, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, Braves got beat by Arizona. It was the Dodgers over Minnesota 6-2. Mets beat San Diego 6-5, and Pittsburgh, San Francisco Giants pinned an 11-3 loss on Pittsburgh out on the left coast.
No, Braves beat Arizona 8-3.
Braves beat Arizona. Okay.
8-3.
So they did win. Okay. Toronto over Oakland 4-1. Kansas City defeated Detroit 3-1. Cleveland in 11 beat the Angels 11-7. Tampa Bay over Baltimore 5-4. Texas beat Miami, as we said, 10-4, and Seattle beats the Red Sox in the Pacific Northwest. Final there was 6-5. That's the scoreboard from last night. So trades, we have the Red Sox trying to bolster third base and picking up Eduardo Nunez. Tell me about that.
Yeah, good move for the Red Sox. They've really needed a third baseman. Of course, they let Pablo Sandoval go, and he went back to the Giants, which was kind of interesting after the way that he left the Giants with, not such good terms when he left San Francisco. But he goes back there, and from my understanding, came in and made an apology first thing, and tried to mend some fences there. But yeah, then the Red Sox make a trade with the Giants to get Eduardo Nunez. They definitely needed a third baseman. This was a great move for them, something they had to do, and they went out and did what they needed. And I don't think they're done. I think they're going to make another move or two. But this was a good move for the Red Sox at this point in the season to do that.
Batting .308, 21 doubles, and 18 stolen bases in 23 attempts. This guy's got some speed. And what Greg's referring to, Pablo Sandoval, he left San Francisco in a snit, kind of to use a cowboy movie scenario. He left the saloon firing shots, boom, 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 as he's leaving. Well, they welcome him back, and apparently everything's been forgotten or patched up, so he's back in the Giants organization. But the Red Sox, with a need at third base for much of the season, got him a good one right there with Eduardo Nunez.
Yeah, they did. A guy that has a proven track record, and no reason to think that he can't step into that third base spot there in Boston and make a difference in the final outcome for the season.
Coming up, we got Dave Angie joining us from Johnson City Press. We got a kid. I'm not making this up. This kid is in 8th grade. He's been extended scholarship offers. He's in 8th grade. Kid's 6'4", 280-some pounds in the 8th grade. And so this kid has been legitimately offered scholarships by 3 teams in the Southeastern Conference in the 8th grade. So we'll talk to Dave about that, along with some other sports, obviously. But how do you? So I wouldn't let if my kid was playing against him, I wouldn't let him play. I mean, 6'4", 280. He has no chance. Kid's in 8th grade, which makes him what? 11 years old, 12 years old?
Yeah.
I thought this was a joke, and I started reading down, and it's not a joke. I've got the story here. This kid is legitimate. 6'4", 286. He's in 8th grade, and he's already been offered scholarships by 3 teams out of the Southeastern Conference. So, which to me is crazy. But, and again, as an opposing coach, I mean, how do you defend him? And imagine some poor kid that's going to be, in the 8th grade, lines up against this guy for a whole game. I mean, he's just, he has no business playing in 8th grade football. I don't care what you say, but that you reach a point, then safety has to become an issue. But we'll talk more about that, Dave, coming up. Tension between the Cubs and the White Sox. Things are not going well. They never go well in Chicago between those two.
No.
We had pitchers with 4 hit batsmen in the game yesterday. So John Lackey got it going. He hit Jose Abreu in the first inning. Then he hit 3 more batters in the 5th. And then they come back, and the White Sox come back and retaliate. So they drill one of the Cubbies. And so home plate umpire Lance Barksdale warns both benches. So no love lost between the White Sox and the Cubs.
Absolutely not. Never has been. Probably never will be. No. I was actually surprised that they were able to get together on that trade for Quintana, because you just wouldn't think these two teams would be even willing to talk. I mean, that's just how they've been with each other, even though it's different leagues. They've always felt this way with each other, and. So, I mean, I don't think it's any surprise to anybody. John Lackey was the one that started that whole thing. It's been a frustrating season for him. And, when a pitcher gets frustrated, what does he do? A lot of times he hits a batter. So, I don't think that's a surprise. So, but interesting, that happened. And the thing that you always feel bad for is the team that gets the warning when they really haven't done anything much to retaliate.
It's usually the second person gets it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So
I'll sucker punch him, and he'll throw one back, and they'll catch him. They won't catch me. That's
how
it usually works.
Yeah, that's how it happens. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think the White Sox might have got the raw end of the stick there, but I don't know.
So anyway, the White Sox and the Cubs, I think they continue their series. I'll check and see. I'm pretty sure they continue to play today. Or do they? Let's see. Yep, they play tonight. As a matter of fact, Kaminsky. Jake Arrieta's on the mound for the Cubbies tonight. Clayton Kershaw goes out with a back injury. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. obviously it's big, but how big is this for the Dodgers, who are the best team in baseball?
Yeah, I mean, you lose a player like Clayton Kershaw, it's a major blow to any team. But the problem, I guess the good thing for the Dodgers is it's not as big a blow to them as it would be for most teams, just because of the depth they have in their pitching. So they're still in pretty good shape. You hear rumors about what they might do at the trade deadline, and a lot of, I look at them and say, what do they need to do? Mm-hmm. I don't know if they need to do anything. But, will they go out and get a rental maybe as a starter until Kershaw comes back? Somebody that, that they'll just let go at the end of the season. That, this is the last year on their contract. Maybe that might be what they'll do. They definitely have the money to do something like that if that's what they want to do. And they have the prospects to do it. But, I see them probably staying put. They're going to win that division. I mean,
they basically already won it.
Yeah, I mean, they have. So, now 2 other teams in that division are playing good ball. Arizona and Colorado are both playing good ball. But, let's face it, they're both 12.5 games back at this point. And, the Dodgers have the best record in baseball. And, there's really nothing they need to do other than perhaps do something to fill in for Kershaw until he can come back.
You see on the screen, we're talking to Greg Sawyer, the Major League Baseball update. 2 names I'm hearing is Yu Darvish from the Rangers going over, or maybe Verlander from Detroit. Verlander's got a no-trade clause in his contract. They can't send this guy anywhere unless he approves it. Plus, either the Tigers have to pay some of this or the Dodgers pick up all of a $59 million price tag. So Verlander has to approve the trade to begin with, and then somebody's got to pick up this money, whether it's Detroit getting rid of him to get to pick up some of his money, or the Dodgers pick up some of it as he's coming in. But then the more I hear that the Tigers are going to let him stay there, they don't want to fool with him as far as trying to get him to approve. But, if I'm Justin Verlander, if I'm going from Detroit, who's on the outside looking in, to the Dodgers' best team in baseball, why would you not do that if you're Justin Verlander? I mean, you got a chance to play in the World Series. I'd be all over that.
Yeah.
Because you won't be in Detroit.
Sure, absolutely. I would be all over that too. The only thing that you can think of, maybe it would be an ego thing. He wouldn't be the number 1 guy in Los Angeles. And let's face it, he's not even going to be the number 2 guy in Los Angeles if he goes there. But, why wouldn't you go there to get a ring?
If you pick up my $59 million contract, Greg, I'll be the 3rd banana. I'll be the 4th banana. I'll be the 8th banana. I'll just be a banana. I don't care.
Yeah.
You're going to put me in a position to win a World Series ring. Because the Dodgers, unless they don't do well in postseason, the track record, they're trying to get over that psychological hump of doing well in the regular season and laying an egg in postseason. But they got the horses to go. They can go a long way this year. So if I'm Verlander or anybody that gets a chance to go pitch for the Dodgers, I would say I'm all for it. Kershaw will come back. Wood's your other ace. In fact, he may be the ace of the staff.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He was once going to be, when he went to Braves.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I want to make sure if we'll jump on. I could have sworn he was with the Braves. He was. So they unload this guy, and I think he's still undefeated.
I think he is, yeah. Yeah, he's undefeated.
The Nationals needing some help. Strasburg, day-to-day, looks like he went out Sunday with a bad back, and they've run an MRI. It's negative, so they're saying he's probably going to be okay to do his next start. But they are looking for help because Edwin Jackson had a rocky start, went 5 innings, 7 hits, 7 runs, struck out 3, walked 3, and gave up 3 long balls to Milwaukee. So Edwin Jackson, one of those guys are counting on down the stretch. Not a good outing, so they may be looking around for another pitcher. They picked up Sean Doolittle and Ryan Madsen. But again, the Nats are all but locks to win the NL East. And they have a rotation front 4 that's the envy of almost every other team in baseball. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do.
Scherzer and Strasburg.
Yeah, and Gonzalez. Those 3 guys at the front end of that rotation are probably as good as you're going to find anywhere. And, don't be surprised. There's some of these guys that you hear names that, they're just going to be traded. There's just no doubt about it. They're probably going to be traded. And, I wouldn't be surprised if Washington hasn't made some phone calls to Texas about Yu Darvish. I think that'd be a good fit for them at this point.
Let's run down the standings. Greg's got some trade rumors, some other things to go through, but let me run down the standings real quick. American League East going into action tonight. Boston with a 1-game lead over the Yankees. Yankees have won 2 in a row. Red Sox on this West Coast trip, not so good. They've lost 6 out of 10 and 4 in a row. The Yankees a game out. Tampa Bay 2.5 out. Do you count as Baltimore and Toronto out, or do you still think they got a chance?
Well, I mean, they're 6 games and 8 games out, so they still have a chance. I don't think it's a good chance, especially for Toronto. I think Baltimore's going to be sellers, though. I think they're going to get rid of some of their bullpen, and I think that's going to hurt them down the stretch. But I wouldn't count them out just yet. But I don't think they're going to do anything to help themselves at the trade deadline.
To give you an idea where we are, Baltimore, case in points, played their 100th game, so they got 62 games left. 62, yes. Yeah. 162 game season, and so that's what basically most teams are in that position. 60, 65 games left in the regular season. Cleveland and Kansas City, the American League Central, are red hot. Cleveland has won 5 in a row, 6 of their last 10. They're a game and a half better than Kansas City. The Royals are making some moves. We had them dead to right about a month ago. We were wondering if Ned Yost going to keep his job. They've won 7 in a row, 8 out of the last 10. Kansas City a game and a half behind Cleveland. Minnesota 4.5 out. Detroit 8.5 back. Daniel Norris, his rehab hooked him after 32 pitches on Sunday with a severe groin injury, so his status is very much day-to-day for Detroit, so it's not been a good year for Daniel Norris, to say the least. But American League Central, Cleveland, Kansas City, you still throw Minnesota and Detroit in the fray or not?
Well, I think Minnesota you can for sure. They're 4.5 games back, but they have come down to earth. They were playing well above where anybody thought they would be. And Kansas City got red hot. Minnesota has played lately about how we expected them to play. But I don't think you can count them out. I mean, they're 1 game under 500. They're 4.5 games back. So I don't think you can count them out yet. Kansas City, total turnaround. I mean, who would have thought that we would have seen this after how they were playing, like you said, about a month ago? They were at the cellar or near the cellar at that time, and they've just turned it on and won 7 in a row, and good for them. I like to see them do well. So the thing about it though, Cleveland, we all expected Cleveland to run away with this division, and they just haven't done it. They have underperformed, if anything, and even with Encarnacion and the way he's been playing, and last night was a big night for him, but even with what's been going on with him, they've been underperforming, and Cleveland's going to have to step it up a notch if they're going to hold off Kansas City.
Houston still, again, the king of the American League, and they're 67-33. They are 17 games better than Seattle, the American League West. In the National League, you have Washington, 11.5 game lead over the Braves, and a very soft division, to say the least. Mets woefully underperforming. There's another big disappointment. Mets, all that pitching they've had, of course. So which one did the stupid thing got hurt? Syndergaard. Mm-hmm. He's out, still out. And so Washington leads Atlanta by 11.5. In the Central, a whole different ball game. Milwaukee hanging on by the hair of their chinny chin chin. Cubs half game back. Pirates 3.5 back. Cardinals 4 back. I think any of those 4 teams can win this. I'm still waiting for the Cardinals to wake up and get going. They haven't yet. Pittsburgh was red hot. They've won 7 of their last 10, or are red hot rather. And the Cubs have won 8 of their last 10. So those 2 teams are hot, and Milwaukee is very much looking over the shoulder, aren't they?
Milwaukee's cold. They've won 3 of their last 10. So Milwaukee is they're going to make a move. I mean, they're going to have to do something here at this trade deadline to improve their team. The funny thing is they're looking for a second baseman, and they let Scooter Gennett go at the beginning of the season, and right at the end of spring training, and he's just tearing it up in Cincinnati. Yep. But that's what they're looking for now at the trade deadline is a second baseman. So kind of interesting move there for Milwaukee. But I think any one of those 4 teams are still in it. Look for Pittsburgh to I think be. They're an interesting team at this deadline because some people think they're going to be buyers, some think they'll be sellers, some think they're going to get the most for McCutchen right now if they decide to trade him. It'd be interesting to just sit back and watch that team because they have to make a decision. Are we in it this year or are we going to be in it next year?
Let's run down the schedule. Day games, the Reds and Homer Bailey on the mound in Yankee Stadium against New York, 1:05 first pitch. Atlanta with Blair on the mound in Arizona. Pittsburgh at San Francisco. That's day games. Tonight under the lights, Houston to Philadelphia, Milwaukee at Washington. Yu Darvish will be on the hill. He's only 6-8 for the Rangers. Maybe one of his last starts for Texas. I don't see him there this time next week. I think somebody's going to offer a lot of money to Texas to take him off that roster. They will host Miami. The Cubs, as we said tonight, against Chicago in the south part of Chicago. Colorado at St. Louis, Minnesota at L.A., and the Mets will be in San Diego. In the American League, head-to-head competition, Baltimore at Tampa Bay, 12:10 first pitch this afternoon. I would think it'll be a little warm down in Tampa, Florida, at 12 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon.
They play inside, though.
They play inside.
They have AC.
They got AC. You got it. Boston at Seattle this afternoon. Again tonight, Oakland at Toronto, Kansas City at Detroit. The Angels will be in Cleveland. And, again, Minnesota on the left coast against the Los Angeles Dodgers. So, in closing, you got some trade rumors and some quick hits. Tell me about it.
Yeah, the trade rumors, I think we need to really talk about Sonny Gray. We haven't talked about him at all today. And, a lot of teams are after this guy. He will not be in Oakland this time next week. I think that's maybe the safest thing I've said this whole show. I think Oakland just has to figure out, okay, what do we need back in return, and who's going to offer us the most. Even teams that are basically out of it are trying to get Sonny Gray. The Braves are interested in Sonny Gray as well, which they have the prospects to do it. I guess another question is, will they trade Yonder Alonso to the Yankees? A player that came up in the Reds organization. I watched him since he was drafted out of University of Miami, made the All-Star team this year, and is really producing as well or better than he has so far in his career. And the Yankees are looking at him as well. So hang on there as well. We'll see what happens. Brewers are looking at Ian Kinsler as their second baseman. So they may try to pull off some kind of trade there with Detroit. I think Detroit's going to look a little different in the next couple of weeks than how they look now. So I think they're going to stock up on some prospects if they can. And if they can pull that Verlander trade with one of those contenders, I think they'll be willing to do that, which I think the Cubs are in on Verlander too. I think they're trying to get Verlander.
In fact, I heard the only two teams who really financially could afford Verlander's $59 million price tag are the Cubs and the Dodgers. They both had the wherewithal to do it if they want to pull the trigger. And Verlander's he's a no-trade clause. He has to prove it. So those are the two. But, yep.
But like you said, why not? Why wouldn't you do that?
Try that?
And of course, the Giants, from what it sounds like, they're open to trading both Samardzija and Johnny Cueto. So, I think if I was a contender, I'd pick up either one of those guys at this point if I needed pitching.
Talking to Greg Salyer, Major League Baseball. Again, we got a picnic going on tonight, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going swimming in the swimming hole.
Yeah.
Going off the high dive.
Fishery Park there in Irwin. Attempt number 2 for this. And believe me, we've made phone calls to make sure lifeguards are going to be there this time. So we're going swimming tonight.
It was kind of comical. Well, the kids didn't like it. I thought it was pretty funny. We got out there to the picnic, and just an oversight. Pool closes. We're supposed to have the pool to ourselves. Lifeguards all go home. We can't go. We had a big picnic. Had a good time. Food was good.
Yeah.
So Greg goes over to see where the lifeguards are, makes a phone call and says, uh-oh, we forgot to stay around for the swimming for the church. So to their credit, they've taken care of us, made sure everything was good. We act like we had some sense. We didn't go off and go crazy. We didn't cut a shiner. It's like, okay, we get another chance to come back here and swim. It ain't the end of the world. It ain't cancer. So tonight, the folks in the town of Irwin, they've bring us back out there tonight, and I'd say the lifeguards will be there.
I would say they'll be there tonight.
If they're not there tonight, then if he don't get them, I'm going to get them. So
yeah.
But I'd say they'll be there tonight.
I'd say they'll be there
tonight. It's just an oversight.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. So anyway, and then Sunday, what's going on Sunday?
Sunday's going to be awesome. Jason Lovin's band's going to be at Southwestern Sunday. Saturday night, they're going to be with us for our community picnic from 5 until 8 at our pavilion. And we're looking forward to that. Free barbecue for anyone that would like to come. And believe me, these guys know how to smoke some pork. So if you'd like to come out for that, we would welcome everyone on Saturday evening from 5 until 8. And then Sunday morning, they'll be with us leading worship at Southwestern. And, Jason's just a great guy, easy to work with, got a great voice, great testimony. I'm going to ask him to to share some of that on Sunday morning, and it's going to be good.
Will be great. Southwestern Baptist Church, Cherokee Road in Johnson City. If you're so inclined, come out to the pool tonight. Get a little slab of watermelon, a hot diggity, and go swimming.
Yeah.
It's going to be hot. Good Lord made it hot today, so woo, it's a Blue Lizard day.
That's right.
Going off the high dive. As we go to the break, by the way, thanks. Give me some taters. Get you some lunch. Here is Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s parting video. This is why you need to get tickets to this event, because they are selling like hotcakes, and here's why on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
If you're not a race fan and I send you to Bristol, you're going to be a race fan when you leave.
The most popular track on the circuit.
Let me tell you, don't count that 88 out. He's pretty darn good.
Says goodbye to NASCAR's most popular driver.
Hell yeah!
The Bass Pro Shops NRA Night Race, August 19th. Your last chance to see Junior run the night race.
Man, this is one of the biggest wins of my career.
Why is that?
It's Bristol, baby!
There's the tickets right there. Dale Jr.'s Food City 300. Again, qualify. Just go to TomTaylorSports.com/contest, and you have. We've already got a ton of folks in. We've got several states represented already, so we're giving away the Wednesday night doubleheader, UNOH 200 and the Bush's Beans 150. Those two go together 3 weeks from tonight. It's hard to believe we'll be up there 21 days out. And then, of course, the obvious, we can add 2 more days. That would give you 23 days from the Food City 300 and 24 days out from the Bass Pro Shop NRA Night Race. 423 Bristol, BristolTix.com, or 423 Bristol on the computer, BristolTix.com. Or if you're out of town, a lot of folks, again, we were in West Virginia on Monday, had the second largest viewed show we've ever had, over 3,500 views. Can't thank you enough for that. And so up there or anywhere else you're watching, it's 1-866-415-4158 to get your tickets to Bristol Motor Speedway. This is not hype. We hope to get Landon on tomorrow for a ticket update here at Drew Bedard. But I'm telling you, and the man's coming up next after the break, covers NASCAR for Johnson City Press, and he can tell you, and this is not blowing smoke, the tickets are flying out of there for this race for a lot of reasons. So anyway, big silly season move earlier in the day. Ryan Blaney and Paul Menard will talk about that and more with our buddy Dave Angie. He joins us next from the Johnson City Press. And also, we're getting ready to co-host a show that we're very excited about. Tell about that next year on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do you do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here at the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400. your one-and-done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
We're back on the Tom Douglas Sports Show. There he is, our buddy Dave Angie with the Johnson City Press. Good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
Fantastic, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. The guy's just a ray of sunshine everywhere he goes. I'm telling you, he's always perky and upbeat, and he's in here. He and his lovely little daughter's going to get something to eat here in a few minutes. But we got lots to talk about. The silly season of NASCAR is upon us, and since we were here last week, we weren't here last week. We were
somewhere.
Me. I was at Mike's Medicine Mart last week, but we had you on the phone. But since then, Keselowski signs his contract extension with Team Penske. Then today, they had a third team. They're bringing Ryan Blaney over from Wood Brothers for 2018, and then taking his spot, Richard Childress Racing's Paul Menard, after 7 seasons, going over to drive the iconic, as he calls it, the 21 for the Wood Brothers. So it's crazy stuff. Casey Kane probably saved his bacon by winning that race last weekend. He's in the chase now, so lots going on. It's almost like the word is fluid for NASCAR. There are moving parts and pieces all the time, but let's go with the first one. Your take on signing Keselowski and opening up a third team for Team Penske for Ryan Blaney.
Well, we talked about how odd the whole thing was with Keselowski. Why isn't he re-signed? What's the deal there, especially with all the good rides out there? And it was real surprising, and now we kind of see what the moving parts were. I mean, they were going to add a third team, which I think is a good move for them. They've been real solid, and every car you add, that gives you a little extra data, at every track, and extra crew chiefs, and you put more heads together, smart people. If you get smart people in there, it's a blessing to have more cars because you have more good information being shared. You can find out what's working setup-wise with one, and the other two can kind of feed off of that. So definitely a good move for them. With Keselowski re-signed, they have 2 really solid drivers in place. 2 guys that now are starting to look like veterans in the sport, even though they're young men, just because there's been such a youth movement. And Blaney, of course, has been among that, kind of been part of that youth movement, and now he's moving over to a really solid race team, and I expect big things out of Blaney. The Wood Brothers, iconic team, they've won a lot of races. They're not what they used to be, but he's been very competitive in their equipment. So, I think that's a sign that if he goes in there, they get him the right crew chief, they're able to ramp up to a third team effectively and get him in good cars, he's going to be able to go out there and win races with the other 2 guys. So, big move for them. And, it's been kind of fun to watch. Ford a while back was just, falling so far off with Roush. And, now they've gotten Penske in the mix. And, Ford's just strengthened, got really strong again, and now they've got a good fleet of drivers over there at Penske.
We, of course, going to co-host the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview coming up next month. We'll talk more about that in a moment. I'm very excited about working alongside this gentleman. He's a funny guy, and he's very, very informative, obviously. Knows a lot of sports. I get Ryan Blaney going to Penske. That makes him a power team immediately. Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, that's a solid threesome for Team Penske. Don't necessarily get Paul Menard leaving RCR Racing unless there was a squeeze going over there. Of course, I think everybody understands that Richard Childress is going to take care of Austin and Ty, his grandsons. He's made up there's no, the old adage, blood's thicker than water. So, but I don't see Menard going to the Wood Brothers as much as I see Ryan Blaney heading off to over to Team Penske.
Yeah, that has to be a situation where they were going to contract after this year, and Menard's car was going to be the one that was going to be cut out of the picture. And he was looking for somewhere to land, and he found it, and that's the only way to me that deal makes a ton of sense. the one thing we've talked about with Menard in the past is with his family business. It's kind of like Jeg Coughlin in NHRA. Jegs has been around for years and years, and he's part of that family. So if that guy wants to drive somewhere, it's going to be a yellow and black car, and he'll be out there driving it. Same deal with Paul Menard. So owners like him because that sponsorship money, you don't have to worry about it year after year. You know where it's coming from. So it seemed odd that he would pick this time to move, and especially the Wood Brothers. But I think what you're looking at now with Childress, he's getting a little bit older. He's cutting his team back to 2 cars. I think Ryan Newman right now is he's doing an admirable job and driving well, but I think he's kind of a placeholder until it looks like the other Dillon boy is going to get in that car, and they'll be like the Duke boys. You have the Dillon boys out there, trying to outrun everybody. So that's definitely turned into a family operation there, and I think that's kind of what has happened to Paul Menard.
Talking to Dave Ong, you see on the screen the Johnson City Press, and we hit him with all kinds of different sports topics. So I've asked you this before. You're in the middle of a season. Because you got a lot of racing left here. We just got through the halfway point a couple of weeks ago. There's a ton of racing left from a morale standpoint. I always think that when you announce, I'm one of your crew guys, you announce you're leaving next year and you're going over there. Well, some of these guys, of course, they're pros. They get paid pretty good to be crews, part of the crews on these teams. But I just think psychologically the morale has to take a hit because, you're working for a guy now that's not going to be there next year. And so am I right or wrong that it could be morale issues? Nobody ever talks about this much in NASCAR. I guess everybody just goes out and does their job. But somewhere in the back of my mind I'm thinking there's got to be a morale problem.
Well, you would think so. It may play a role. I guess it's a situational thing too. I think if there's guys on a team where they know that next year, their team's going to go on, they're just going to have another driver. There might be some of that, but I think when you're looking at Paul Menard's situation where that team's going to be contracted, those guys are all right now working for their job next year. Obviously they're going to have to go out and be solid on pit road or do a solid job in the shop building cars or whatever the situation is. They're going to have to do that in order to be able to impress somebody enough to get a job next year. It's a sport where it's performance based, and that goes beyond the driver. That's everybody. So whether you like the guy or not that's driving for you, whether you're disheartened with the fact that you're losing your driver, they're all fighting for a job the next year, and it's highly competitive. So I think regardless of morale, I think that's what will keep performance up for most of these race teams.
William Byron, again, a young man who's setting the woods on fire. Again, he'll be the defending champ of the truck race this weekend, and the trucks and Cup will race in Pocono. The Xfinity Series will be in the Iowa Speedway, where Eric Jones won the race a year ago, who, as you know, but now is going to Joe Gibbs, so taking Kenseth's spot. Still no home for Matt Kenseth. The sand's going through the hourglass. Does Furniture Row pick him up? Does Richard Childress Racing pick him up? Does anybody pick him up? Is he just going to go to the broadcast booth like Junior's going to do?
Oh, I'll tell you, I don't know if Kenseth will ever broadcast. He doesn't strike me as that type. He's the type that's just going to disappear. When he's done, he's going to disappear. And I feel for him right now because almost any other time in NASCAR history, to be a driver with the resume that he has, to be a seasoned guy, 45 I think he is, and that's not too old, and he could still go out there and win races for somebody. But there's in this sport right now, with the competition for sponsorship being what it is and the youth movement being what it is, it's just really, I think that's too much for him to overcome. I don't think he's going to find a competitive enough seat next year to draw his interest and to bring him back. So I think this might be it for Kenseth, and I could be proven wrong. It's been such a crazy, silly season so far. You never know what's coming next. I think it could be a situation where he may sit out next year. And if he still wants to drive and still has that passion there, when Dodge comes into the sport the following year, which everybody's speculating will happen, there's a guy right there that I think would be hard to overlook for a seat, because when you're starting as a manufacturer and coming in like Toyota did a few years back, you have to find some solid drivers. Dale Jarrett at the time drove with Michael Waltrip Racing. I mean, there's so many variables that you want to have a steady guy in the seat that you know that you can count on that, and he can tell you what he's feeling, and that'll help them progress and pick up and be competitive faster if they have drivers like that. So if it's not next year, I think the year after, if Dodge comes back in the sport, that might be interesting to see if he lands with them.
As you know, if you don't know, if you're not a NASCAR fan, Matt Kenseth his 16th all-time wins. He's tied with Kyle Busch with 38. So this is not like some rum-dum. This guy's been an established star, a former champion. So for him to be out of work right now is really surprising, but he is to this point. And so we move along. Of course, people still talk about Danica. Maybe she won't be there next year. I think Casey Kane probably saved his bacon by winning this race last weekend and puts himself into the chase. I know it took him, it was very interesting. I didn't want to say become a fan, but I appreciate him a lot more because he was very humble. He said, you know, back when I was winning races fairly regular back in the day, he said, it's been 102 races since I've won. He said, I appreciate now how tough it is. Sometimes you take it for granted. Kurt Busch said the same thing earlier in the year after winning the Daytona. He said, you know, back in the day, and I was winning them every week or every couple of weeks, that's just another race. He said, now I appreciate how tough it is to go out there and beat the best in the world and win a race. And so Casey Kane breaks a 102 race drought. So we'll see if that helps his cause again with Rick Hendrick Motorsports. Do you see any other silly season things going on besides Kenseth? Do you see Kane gone? Do you see Danica gone?
Well, you know, that a lot of that comes down to sponsorship, you know, with both of them and how solid that is. You know, I think at Stewart-Haas, you know, that to me is getting pretty interesting. You know, that's such a competitive team and has been. And they've won some races, and those cars have been so competitive. The fact that you have one driver that hasn't been able to be competitive in that equipment, you know, I think is a cause for concern. You know, especially with Tony Stewart gone, you know, Clint Boyer trying to get that 14 car back up to speed, you know. I think I could feasibly, those are the two drivers I would look at if there's a hot seat in NASCAR. I know college football, people love the hot seat, you know, in NFL with coaches and all that. But with drivers, you know, if there are two hot seats right now, I think it's that the car that Kane's driving and the car Danica's in. And, you know, it just, I think if their sponsors are willing to give them another year, both of them will get another year. But, yeah, they're both kind of on thin ice right now.
Since last week, of course, the race, Clint Boyer had a profanity-laced tirade against his teammate Danica Patrick, dropped the F-bomb several times in the car on the in-car audio about her, so he quickly came and got that straightened out and apologized, but still, that's in-house between Clint Boyer and Danica Patrick, so stay tuned. It's going to get interesting. I think, when I was talking to Mike Hendrick earlier, our NASCAR fan reporter, I think this really ramps everything up. This is not hype, but it ramps everything up for Bristol coming up in, 24 days, when you've got the groove, another groove's when he put back down. You've got all these guys juking for position. The pressure's being ramped up by the time they get to Bristol as far as trying to get into the chase. So I think you'll see a lot more risk-taking, and I think you'll see friendships go out the window when they get to Bristol because, you know, these sponsors are telling these owners, these cars, we want our car in that chase, and, we want to get them in that chase at whatever, you know, we want them in the chase. We're paying big bucks, and so the pressure's on these owners and the drivers to get there. I think you're going to see that spill over into Bristol when they get in here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you know, with each passing year, it gets harder for me to remember my early 20s. But I remember myself, I could be kind of a knucklehead when I was in my early 20s. I don't know, I'm not going to speak for you on that, but, you know, me personally, I could be a knucklehead. So
there you go.
What I'm saying is, people talk about the intensity and the risk-taking.
Mm-hmm.
You got all these 20-year-old kids driving these race cars, and, you know, they don't care. You know, I mean, to a certain extent they do, but you get them on a short track, you know, I think that's really what's going to change it. I mean, we had such a veteran-dominated sport for so many years, and we had some Bristol races where it felt like, you know, drivers were like, okay, I'm going to be smart here, you know. When you're in your early 20s, unless they're better men than me, I had a hard time being smart when I was in my early 20s. So, you know, it could get pretty wild, you know, just from that respect. And that's what I'm excited about, too, is, you know, seeing how the youngsters, all of them, they're this far into the year, kind of getting up to speed a little bit, and to see kind of how they race and how they handle the situation. I think that's going to add a lot of spice to it. And, yeah, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's going to be a heck of a race. That bottom groove they got in last time, they learned from that. They're learning every time, you know, kind of where to put it, how much to put down. And, yeah, I think it's going to be a great show. I just expect that to be a wonderful, wonderful race. And, yeah, it's going to be fun to be there.
Oh, yeah. 423 Bristol, BristolTix.com, 1-866-415-4158 to get your tickets. And Junior's last stand at Bristol, both races, the night race, the Food City 300, the 25th anniversary. Austin Dillon come back to defend his crown. Of course, Harvick will be there on Saturday night. It's pretty cool. Chevrolet's the official car of Bristol Motor Speedway, and all four races in the fall The Bush's Beans 150 won by Eric Goodell, Chevrolet. Truck race, Ben Kennedy, Chevrolet. Of course, Food City 300, Austin Dillon, Chevrolet. And Harvick won the Bass Pro Shop NRA night race in the Chevrolet. So bow ties dominated up there last year. It's going to be a pretty exciting run. Can't wait to be there. And Dave's going to be there, of course, as well, covering it for the Johnson City Press. Let's switch talk a little college football. Since last week, a guy by the name of Hugh Freeze did a really stupid, you're talking about a knucklehead.
Yeah.
Something really stupid.
Yeah.
And from a lot of different fronts. But he's no longer there, and that just makes that storied program and such a really cool institution in Mississippi get a really black eye, and so they're moving forward. But Hugh Freeze was a knucklehead.
Yeah, this is the Knucklehead segment on the Tom Taylor Show this week. We recognize all the knuckleheads out there in the sports world, but no, that here's what's fascinating about this whole deal is there was a Mississippi State graduate who was working on a book on this whole deal and was really researching into Hugh Freeze and got the phone records and was thumbing through them and found a number that was unfamiliar, and then of course the number wound up being the one that got Hugh Freeze in a lot of trouble. And the thing that's baffling to me about this is they gave Hugh Freeze the opportunity to go through there and take out any numbers that were of a personal nature, but clean it up and redact those numbers before they released this thing, and he missed one. And this guy found it and alerted the lawyer of Houston Nutt. Because Houston Nutt right now is suing Mississippi for defamation of character from comments that Hugh Freeze made about him and trying to pin a lot of the school's pending NCAA troubles on the previous administration that Houston Nutt was running. So that kind of backfired on Freeze because it wound up costing him his job. And I'll tell you this for Ole Miss right now, they are getting ready to be in a world of hurt. The NCAA has already hit them with a notice of allegations, which means penalties are coming. And man, oh man, it's going to get ugly because Ole Miss didn't get rid of Hugh Freeze because of the violations that were committed under his watch. They held on to him and then got rid of him for this. So this is something else on top of everything else that was coming down. And the NCAA, when its lack of institutional control, which they're talking about now, and I think they have a good case to make, man, you're going to get hit hard. It's going to be scholarships. It's going to be years without bowl appearances. They're going to lose out on TV money, bowl money. It's going to be pretty ugly there, and it's going to be a long time until they're competitive again. So, just an interesting story with a lot of twists and turns, and man, it's amazing in the SEC.
You got Matt Luke as the interim coach for a one-year deal, I guess.
Yeah.
The chancellor and the athletic director said they'll start the search immediately. A, who do you go get, and B, who would go into this? I mean, your job's pretty safe, really, because you'll be under probation, so you can't go anywhere but up after what's going on. But you're also hamstrung because from recruiting, I go get Dave Angie and say, "Come play at Ole Miss," and you won't probably. I'm speculating here, but you won't have a Chinaman's chance of getting into a bowl situation or postseason or any of that. So recruiting's going to be very, very tough. So I've already heard them say they're going to try and go get Les Miles to get the thing turned around, and I just don't see that.
Les Miles isn't going to do it, but I'll tell you who will. Lane Kiffin. No, he would take that job in a heartbeat because he's at FAU right now. He wants to get back into the SEC. And this is okay. So he's a young guy. This is the reason. Of course, with Les, I mean, it would be years till they were competitive again. He would never see those days. He wouldn't be able to coach long enough. It would be a miserable tenure for him. It would hurt his all-time coaching record. But Lane Kiffin, a young guy that can afford to go through those growing pains, and then all of a sudden you come out the other end. You look at James Franklin right now at Penn State. There was a time when it was like Penn State's a job that nobody's going to take. It's going to be 10 years. But the way things worked out, they were able to turn it around faster. They're one of the favorites or among the favorites to possibly win the Big Ten this year with James Franklin coaching that team. And that was a big jump. And if that program weren't damaged goods, there's no way he makes the jump from where he was up there to State College. So, I think when you're looking at big names that would be willing to do this, I think Lane Kiffin's at the top of the list. And, man, would that be exciting.
Now, did he go to Southern Cal and kind of do a mop-up out there, too, when they were in trouble for a while?
They mopped him up. He went down there and he got fired on the tarmac after they gave up like 65 points or something to Arizona State before the plane even took off. And I remember hearing accounts that I think it was Ed Orgeron was an assistant at the time, and they called him out of the bus to go to the plane, and he didn't come back. And then everybody was real quiet, and Orgeron said, "I think they fired our boy." So that was the end of the line there. But no, they mopped him up. But yeah, then he wound up, of course, at Alabama, and he rehabbed himself there and his image and everything, and did a good job in that job. And now FAU, and it might be a short tenure if Ole Miss comes calling.
Talking to our buddy Dave Ons, you got him for a few more minutes here. Again, pro basketball, Cavaliers, got all kinds of problems up there. Kyrie Irving wants out. He wants traded. He told him back in June he wanted traded. He wanted to be traded, rather, and so they go to the NBA draft, and, of course, Chauncey Billups, they fired the general manager. Chauncey Billups says, I'm not coming. He hired a new GM. LeBron's got his fingers all over this basketball program. So yesterday they signed Derrick Rose to come in and replace Kyrie Irving. He's not really gone yet. He's still on the team. So that's kind of a mismatch up there. So what's your take on the Cavs and LeBron and now Derrick Rose going to be a Cavalier?
From the waist up, Derrick Rose is perfectly healthy. But I'm telling you, the leg injuries this guy has, almost like clockwork during the regular season. It goes back to the knee injury he had in the playoffs about 5 years ago when the Bulls were the number one seed in the East and looked to be a favorite to win the finals, and he blows his knee out in the final minutes of a game against the 76ers, I believe. So, he hasn't been right ever since, and that's tough. It's hard to be a GM coming into this situation. They just hire a GM into this, and there's so many things between Irvin and LeBron that seem to be so far down the tracks that it's irreversible at this point. It's hard to see them meshing and being able to play together. If I'm the Cavs at the moment, I keep Kyrie on the team this year, even if it's a rough season, and even if there's a lot of contentiousness, because there's always that chance that they go out and they compete. And him and LeBron, winning cures a lot of ills. And if you come out and you're winning again, they might be able to mend fences. You might be able to keep LeBron in town after next season. You might be able to keep Kyrie in town after next season. Because I'm telling you right now, if they try to trade him, with everybody knowing how bad he wants out of Cleveland, there's no way they get anywhere near fair market value on that trade. They're going to take a step backwards as a team, and then you're almost guaranteeing that LeBron opts out next summer. And he's gone, and then you're right back to where you were before LeBron James showed up in town, except you don't have Kyrie Irving. So, to me, you hold on to him and you see if you can't kind of bring things back together. It's a tough situation right now. I would not want to be the GM. That's a tough place to work.
August 17th is the maiden voyage of the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. Can't wait. He and I are going to co-host this from the showroom at Champion Chevrolet, and the picking panel, we're going to challenge folks to try and beat us in the picking panel. When you put our two heads together, I think it's pretty safe to say that ain't nobody going to beat us.
No, that's going to be that's
we're a two-headed
tough.
monster.
Yeah, I mean, two heads like this. I mean, look at
melon and pumpkin. Two heads like this. You got it.
You got a lot of brains in these heads here, so it's going to be.
It just oozes.
It's going to be good. Best of luck to you. Best of luck to you out there. It's going to be.
Good luck to you trying to beat us.
But I love competition. I just love it. The picking panel, is just something, and I've done them in the past, and people love it. People talk about it, and it's fun. It's a fun way to kind of compete with people out there. Good, healthy competition. It's good for everybody.
And I'm just going to go ahead and say that we're going to keep tabs on you when we start the picking panel. If you don't do good, probably a chance we're going to pick on them, right? Kind of make fun of them.
Oh, yeah.
The ones that don't do good.
Yeah,
yeah. Because we're going to whoop you, because it's going to be me and him picking against you.
Yeah.
And it starts August the 17th. We've got Doug Fritz going to be covering the high school teams. Carmichael's going to be with us by the top 5 games each week in college football in the national scope. We got 3 different guys rotating, giving us a Bucks preview every week. We got Kevin Harmon will give us a preview of the Tennessee game each week for Tennessee football. We got 2 folks lined up to rotate doing Hokies preview. I think I got them all covered. And then of course he's going to take care of the Big East Conference. That's the conference, of course, that Dobbinsman and Science Hill plays in. So it's going to be good. It starts August 17th. Champion Chevrolet is elated we're doing this. We're going to originate it from the showroom with a set and the whole deal, so it's going to be pretty cool. Dave and I are going to co-host it. So August 17th, it'll be the maiden voyage of the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. Looking forward to it big time. So speaking of high school, lots of media days this week.
Yeah, big time. Jumping into it, I've got Daniel Boone tomorrow, which is going to be very exciting to go out and see what they're going to be up to this year. Just love Jeremy Jenkins and his teams, and they're so much fun to watch. they line it up and run it at you. And I love that. I just smash mouth football, man. I love it. And they'll do that enough times until you start creeping in there, and then they'll throw one over your head. So, yeah, he's been a great coach for a long time, and kids come and kids go, but that program is consistent, man. They're consistent in what they do and the high level at which they do it. So, I know a lot of excitement down there. With Crockett, the resurgence of Crockett, that rivalry there is just picking up steam, and should have two excellent football programs in Washington County this year facing off against each other with Gerald Sensabaugh down there at Crockett. So, yeah, a lot of fun.
By the way, Nick Lingerfeld, I think I mentioned this earlier. Maybe I did. Nick Lingerfeld leaving Dobbins-Bennett as an assistant coach, and now the head baseball coach at Crockett, replacing the retired Scott Hagee. So that's a big pickup. Lingerfeld, again, has won big. He's been on some state championship teams in Unicoi County, and so this guy knows his way around high school baseball. Big, I think, a great fit for Crockett to pick up Lingerfeld as the new baseball coach. Also, Patrick Good, former Crockett star, leaving App State, come back to East Tennessee State. We talked about that earlier in the week. Is that a good move for Patrick?
Yeah, I'm glad that worked out. I'm glad it worked out that way. He's going to have to sit out a year, but when you look at the way Forbes' teams have worked, you need to have those shooters, and this kid's lights out. As a freshman, I'm trying to remember his exact percentage, but I know he shot over 40% from the three-point line. And I think that just makes him tailor-made for this team. I was, it was kind of one of those deals during his recruitment where App State jumped in first. They were in early. And I think ETSU may have come in with an offer a little bit later, and he was already pretty much decided by then. But some things, you look at college sports nowadays, a lot of times it doesn't work out. Every year there's a lot of transfers and kids moving around trying to find the right fit. And, I know that the whole family there is just really elated that he's going to get a chance to come play in Johnson City. I know a lot of local high school fans are very excited about that. I think, the glory days of ETSU, people talk about the late 80s and early 90s, and a lot of that had to do with local kids. You look at Marty Story from Greenville, you look at Calvin Telford, Southwest Virginia, you got a lot of those guys from around here that were able to play at that level. I think anytime you have local guys in the mix, it raises excitement, and they're going to have a great team on the floor this year and next, and he's going to get to be a part of that.
Last story before I let him go. Again, we're going to wrap this thing up, get ready to go to Champion Chevrolet tomorrow. Friday, brand new location, going to be at Sprint on Friday, the Sprint store in North Johnson City. And Joe Vento is going to stop by, covering ETSU sports. And you get the very latest from the Marisite twins who left the Lady Buck basketball program. They pick up a new defensive lineman. Coach Day is now the new DL defensive lineman coach for East Tennessee State. So we'll talk to Joe about that on Friday. But big news happening in and around the Buck camp. Good news, and I guess bad news if you're a Marisite twin fan, they both left the program at East Tennessee State. Obviously, Doug was on yesterday, said there's stuff going on behind the scenes, and typically that happens. So we'll see how or where they end up. I can't imagine a college coach not jumping all over Kelsey and Kayla Marisite to get them playing basketball for them.
Yeah, another one of those situations where you're looking for fit, and it's just incredibly common nowadays, with the transfers. And I can't remember the exact numbers just in Division I, but a lot of movement, men's and women's side. Everybody's kind of looking for the best opportunity and best fit there. And I know they're taking their time, I would imagine, on this to be sure they get it right. Find somewhere they can go play either together or possibly separately. I don't know how that'll work out, but definitely will bear watching here pretty soon, because I know there's probably a lot of attention. I know when Patrick announced his decision to leave, John Good said that he had maybe 20-some coaches that contacted him pretty quickly. So I'm sure they're sifting through that situation. You kind of have to go through your recruitment all over again when a situation like this arises. And, definitely two girls there who are quality kids and excellent basketball players just looking for a good fit.
I would think the gentleman out there in Milligan would probably be making a phone call to Coach Aubrey, because I could see them fitting into that orange and black Milligan program pretty easily, but we'll see.
He's a man that doesn't ever show his cards very much. I've talked to him a lot over the years, and I like him. He's an excellent basketball coach and a good guy, but I usually needle him because I know when I ask him about stuff like that, he's never going to answer me. But he'll just chuckle a little bit. But he's always nice about it, and I haven't run into him. I'll corner him at some point and ask him that question.
Last story, I don't know how to deal with this, but because this kid's in 8th grade.
Yeah.
You've seen the story. Jaheim Otis, I guess how you say it, Jaheim Otis.
Yeah.
Kid's in 8th grade. He's 6'4", 286 pounds, runs a 40 and 4.7. This kid's in 8th grade, which means he's 11 years old? No. 8th grade, it'd be probably 14 years old.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
6th grade is you're 12, so you're probably 13, 14 years old, maybe 15.
Yep.
This kid's been given a scholarship. They've already offered him scholarships. Alabama, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State trying to sew this kid up. He's in middle school. He's 6'4", 286 pounds, runs a 40 and 4.7. So if I'm the opposing coach, and I send little Dave Angie out there and say, you got to go up against Jaheim, I guess you're going to say it, Jaheim Otis. I'm not sure I'm going to do that because I'm as a little guy.
No.
And I'm not sure in Mississippi they let this kid play in middle school football. He's 6'4", 286. Obviously, every kid's going to go up against him and have a chance.
Yeah.
You can put the whole lineup against him, they don't have a chance. So, he's really in a tough spot, but I guess he's going to have to be able to play. But I guess my question to you is, what's your take about colleges offering an 8th grader a college football scholarship? I mean, where does it stop?
Yeah, this isn't the first time. It seems like it is not anything that's frequent, but once in a blue moon you'll have a kid where, they're going to get offered in middle school. It's happened with quarterbacks in the past, and I can't remember if it was Peyton or Eli or one of the Mannings may have been getting scholarship offers early. Most of the time when you see it, this is what makes this one interesting. Most of the time when you see it is it's a MAC school or one of the Sun Belt or one of the smaller programs that has a kid near their hometown who they know is going to be a blue chip prospect that they'll have no shot at if they don't get in early. They'll offer him right away in the hopes that that loyalty and sticking with that kid will override it, the flash and all that when you have your Florida States and Alabamas rolling in. What's odd about this is you have big name SEC schools, Alabama among them, already offering this kid in 8th grade, which is big time. I think what you're going to see with him is he's going to end up playing high school. I don't think they're going to let him play on the 8th grade team. I think you're going to see him maybe freshman JV, and he'll be varsity next year and go from there. It's certainly a crazy story, and I cannot believe those numbers on an 8th grader. That is just phenomenal.
Another story before I let you go. Saban comes out. I had this story yesterday where he says he used the Christian McCaffrey and Leonard Fournette skipping their senior bowl games to keep from getting hurt. He says, because they got the early signing date now in December, they got the February signing date, and the Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowlesby says he wants to come out and have a 60-day window in the fall, plus the December, plus the February signing date, so a 60-day or a 2-month window. Saban says what's going to happen ultimately is Dave Angie's just signed to go to play Tennessee or go play Michigan in your case, and you just say, I'm not going to play my senior season, or I'm not going to play in the state playoff game, or I'm not going to play in the state championship football game in a high school for fear of getting hurt because I've already signed a scholarship. Some say that he's nuts. I don't think so. I think there's something to this, and so what's your take about the potential of that actually happening, a high school kid saying to protect himself, he's not going to play in a big game?
I wouldn't want that kid. That kid doesn't love football.
Exactly.
That kid does not love football. And the other thing is that kid is not committed to his teammates. So what's going to happen when you get to college? That's the thing. And that would be, if I'm in the NFL and I'm seeing these guys who skip their bowl games, I'm thinking the same thing if I'm in the draft room. And if you're the Cleveland Browns and a team with just a terrible culture that's been terrible for years, and you got guys who aren't committed, well, okay, we'll draft one of those guys because he's going to fit right in. If you want good culture, you get guys that are going to go out there and play no matter what. Jake Butt from Michigan, the tight end, highly regarded. He was easily going to be one of the top 2 tight ends taken in the NFL draft, and he went out and played in the Orange Bowl anyway.
Yep.
And he got a knee injury, and it forced him to drop in the draft, but he says he wouldn't change a thing about it because those are his guys, and it's his duty, to be part of a team to go out and play when they play.
That's what I think.
And there's no way that you sit out and skip and don't do it. So, yeah, I mean, that's not a guy I would want on my football team. And you know what? Maybe they should do that because if I see a guy do that, a high school kid, I want to know before he's on my roster, before I've wasted a scholarship on him.
So I think I got on my soapbox yesterday. McCaffrey for Stanford, Fournette for LSU. Those 2 guys cheated the teammates.
Yeah.
They cheated the fan base who traveled to the Sun Bowl and the Citrus Bowls these guys play, and they don't play. They cheated the alumni. I mean, everybody got gypped because they were selfish, but so some of the national pundits said, no, it's good. They need to protect themselves because college football is a machine, and these guys are used to make money, and so they got to take care of themselves because they got life after college football. My take, maybe I'm wrong, my take is I signed up these players saying I'm in my case Marshall for 4 years. I'm going to play and I'm going to do in that 4-year span, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do for my football team. That includes play every game I can play and not pick and choose. That's, because without the scholarship that Marshall afforded me, I wouldn't be playing where I'm at with a chance to play on Sunday in the National Football League. So maybe I'm old school, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But if I sign that contract, scholarship papers, if you will, I'm going to do everything I can to help my team the 4 or 5 years I'm there.
To me, it's not even the signature on the paper as much as it is the commitment to the other guys in the locker room. I mean, that's a sacred thing in football. More than any other sport. More than any other sport in football, is the trust factor that you have to build in a sport like that. For a play to work on offense, coaches will tell you this. The beautiful thing about an 80-yard touchdown pass is the fact that all 11 people did exactly what they were supposed to on a single play. And that's what's beautiful about it. But you have to have that trust built up that there's not going to be somebody that's going to check out, because one guy checks out and the quarterback's sacked in the backfield. And that's the thing about football that makes it unique and special, and that has to be there. You're not going to be successful if you don't have that. I'll point toward Clowney at South Carolina, because he was the most highly touted guy. If he'd come out after his first or his second year there, he would have been number 1 pick in the draft. But he has to come back because of NCAA rules. You have to be 3 years past your graduation day. So he comes back for that last season, and he played half speed all year. He sat out a lot of games, and he hasn't amounted to anything in the NFL. And you could say, well, injuries have something to do with that. I just see a guy that went half speed. I see a guy that's not 100% committed, and what has he done for himself? He may have gotten drafted high by the Texans, but he hasn't produced a thing. So there's a lesson to be learned there.
Well put. You hungry?
I could eat, man.
Is she hungry, the little one?
Oh, yeah. She's been over here twice.
I saw that.
Did you see the look on her face?
Yes, I saw the second look. How old is she now, 8?
She's 7. She's getting ready to turn 8, yeah.
She put her hand on her hip and gave you the look, and I thought,
she
boy.
Did.
I've seen that movie. So go feed her.
Yes, sir.
We'll take a quick break. Can't wait to work with this guy again. Coming up August 17th, the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show, previewing college football, high school football, a little bit of pro, but primarily college and high school. Starting August 17th, the maiden voyage, live from Champion Chevrolet, the Bristol Motor Mile, Johnson City. Here is, I think this is the coolest video. The Speedway put this together, gave me the opportunity, said yes. I said, can I run this on my show? They said, absolutely. This is a minute 55 preview about Dale Jr. and his background growing up, following his daddy at Bristol Motor Speedway. Here it is on the Tom Thurman Sports Channel. We'll come back and close out this show.
Final lap for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Bristol is special to me because I've been going there since I was a little kid. I remember watching races on top of old vans and stuff from the infield with my buddies, and wishing I was out there and wondering what it would be like to eventually race on the track one day.
There's a lot of things that change over time. One of the things that doesn't change is Bristol.
And here's Dale Earnhardt going by his son. Take over the 8th position.
160,000 here at Bristol on their feet. Heavily partisan crowd at a place where his father had so much success. And tonight, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is here after winning the night race at Bristol.
Welcome to Bristol Motor Speedway. It's billed as the last great Coliseum, and this place lives up to the hype.
The racing there is the standard for short track racing.
Look at Junior getting a great start.
Let me tell you, don't count that 88 out. He's pretty darn good.
If you're not a race fan and I send you to Bristol, you're going to be a race fan when you leave.
Hell yeah! Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins the Sharpie 500 at Bristol.
And this is one of the biggest wins in my career.
Why is that?
It's Bristol, baby!
There it is again, the Dale Earnhardt Jr. And again, tickets 423 Bristol, bristoltix.com, or 1-866-415-4158. Or right here, as we've been showing you, you can win tickets to Bristol. Go to TomTaylorSports.com, /contest. And hey, maybe we've got multiple winners to see him race on Friday night with the Food City 300, his final Xfinity Series at Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll close out our show right after this, bring you an update on Major League Baseball. They got some games going on. We'll do that right after this on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
This is the place where you can forget all about work for a while and celebrate the good old U.S. of A. And take in the best bumper-banging, fist-waving, hero-making short track race of the year, the Bass Pro Shops NRA Night Race. And kids' tickets are just $10. Be there August 19th, because it ain't just another race. It's Bristol, baby.
Trucks, and more trucks at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. We have a huge selection of over 400 new Silverados to choose from, with over 700 total Chevrolets in stock, with savings that are bigger than our massive selection. Silverado Double and Crew Cab All-Stars, $11,000 off MSRP. Malibu LT, 20% off. 17 Colorado, $19,995. 17 Equinox, $21,445. Don't miss out on one of the best times to buy a new Chevrolet with savings that will leave you asking, how do they do that? At Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City.
At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-Fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-Fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the things that owner Tim Smith is most proud of is their hard-earned certifications.
We are an ASE Blue Seal shop, which is important because what it tells the customer is we care enough to get certified, not in one certain area of cars. You have to be certified in 8 different certifications, in 8 different tests you have to take, and you have to be updated on them yearly to make sure that you're up to date. We not only have one of those, we have 3 ASE master technicians here with the ratio, goes into a ratio, and we're a Blue Seal shop. So it tells you that we care about training and we care about knowing about your car. We want to help fix it right.
American Import and Auto Repair, West Market Street, Johnson City, home of the free loaner car program. Open 6 days a week. Call today, 913-3111.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park.
Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitats, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. Getting ready to wrap this thing up. Again, let's give you Major League Baseball updates. In the top of the fifth inning, Baltimore leads Tampa Bay down on Florida 1-0. Reds and Yankees are scoreless in the second, an afternoon special at Yankee Stadium. Again, Homer Bailey on the mound for the Cincinnati Reds. Hey, a big thank you to the show today. I want to say thanks to folks who made this show go, starting off with the Executive Director of the Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association, our buddy Alicia Phelps. Neat lady. Thank you for stopping by. Alice Corker with the Lisa Harper contest, or not contest, but the Lisa Harper concert coming up next Saturday, August the 5th. Go to lisaharper.net. Find out more about this young lady, a Christian comedian. It's going to be happening at First Baptist Church in downtown Kingsport next Saturday from 10 to 3. Lunch provided, $20 ticket. Again, so check that out again. First Baptist Church of Kingsport is where they're selling the tickets. They are $20 now, and then we'll go up day of course. Also, big thanks to Greg Salyer, the Major League Baseball update. Also, we had, of course, Mike Hedrick, the NASCAR fans reporter, checking in with us live from Northern Virginia. Ryan Blaney going over to Team Penske for next year, and Paul Menard going to Richard Childress Racing. So the silly season continues in NASCAR. We'll race this weekend in Pocono, second time through Long Pond, Pennsylvania. And, of course, just now, buddy Dave Angie from the Johnson City Press. And we're very excited about, as we said, getting ready for the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show coming up beginning August 17th, right here on Facebook and, of course, on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Wrap it up, show number 565. Coming up tomorrow, we'll be live at Champion Chevrolet. And then Friday, brand new sponsor. We're going to be stopping by at Sprint, North Johnson City, North Roan Street, to do our show from there. They got some great specials at the end of the month, and back-to-school deals going on with Sprint. Getting ready to go off to school with the college kids and high school kids. So they've got some great deals going right now. Sprint, we'll tell you all about it coming up on Friday. We'll be there live at Sprint right down the road here in North Johnson City. We're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. We will rejoin you tomorrow at Champion Chevrolet. Until then, for all the guests, this is Tom Taylor telling you, as always, win or lose, be a good sport. Thanks for giving us a watch on show number 565. They said we wouldn't make it, said it wouldn't last. We want to say thanks again for being with us here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. So long, everybody.